Chapter 1433. Su family beast battled Qin Yun, and Xiao Yuelon felt a lot more at ease seeing the 10 vats of divine liquid. If they relied on Yang family's divine fruits, they wouldn't be able to break through much in 3 months. You guys should hurry up and cultivate. You must obtain the sun-suppressing divine arrow. Xiao Yun, if you have the sun-suppressing divine arrow, you might be able to fight for the position of sun god in divine desolate. Star god said, "Can I really fight for the position of sun god?" Qin Yun never thought about it. You have 9 sun divine hammer and nether Sunday. If you also obtain the sun-suppressing divine arrow, it will be possible. Star god laughed and said, "All right, I will continue running for my life. You guys cultivate first." Star god, transporting things to the lower realms will also expose her position. She is also in a hurry to move. After the white altar image disappeared, Xiao Yuelon faintly sighed. Sister Star God is really good. I hope she can get rid of the Dao Yang divine sex pursuit as soon as possible. If it weren't for me, she wouldn't have been hunted down. Qin Yun feels somewhat guilty now. Sister Star God chose to cooperate with you. Of course, she is not afraid of being hunted down. She chose you because she admires you for daring to fight against the Dao Yang divine sect. Xiao Yuelon lightly smiled and said, "Xiao Yun, you must quickly go to the divine desolate to fight against the Dao Yang divine sect." Qin Yun nodded, then placed the divine liquid into the 9-sun divine soul and gave it to Mo to feed the sacred infant fruit. Yuelon, I haven't cultivated with you for a long time, Qin Yun said with smile and grabbed Xiao Yuelon's lily-white hand. Let's use these divine fruits to cultivate first. Xiao Yuelon picked up a divine fruit and carefully looked at it, just as she was about to eat it. Qin Yun promptly took it and said, "You can't randomly eat divine fruits. Who knows what will happen if you eat the divine fruits of this place? Then what should we do? Although it doesn't look very delicious, it is still a fruit. The taste should be pretty good. If there is a problem, Yang Kuei and Yang family patriarch will definitely remind me." Xiao Yuelon looked very greedy as she looked at the divine fruit. Qin Yun carefully inspected it and said, "Let's not eat it directly. I will directly put it into my nether sun." Finished speaking, he used mysterious penetration divine ability to pierce the divine fruit through his stomach and put it into the nether sun. He let the nether sun refine the energy inside the divine fruit and then release it. Will it work? Xiao Yuelon smiled and said, "I thought I could eat a lot of fruits. These fruits are definitely not delicious." Qin Yun curled his lips as he looked at the box. He said, "Yuelon, just look at these fruits and you'll know. They're all leftovers from being picked by others. The Yang family only has these few divine fruits." All right. Xiao Yuelon extended her palms and pressed them against Qin Yun's palms. She said, "I'm going to begin." Qin Yun nodded and said, "Yuelon, I learned a divine art to cultivate mental power. Do you want to learn it as well?" "No need. Sister Rujing taught me," Xiao Yuelon said with smile. "This Ice Mother Tigress is not willing to teach me," Qin Yun unhappily said. "To think that I treated her so well. If you learn it, you will become a woman." "Of course, I don't mind you becoming a woman," Xiao Yuelon giggled. Qin Yun shrugged his shoulders and said with smile, "Yuelon, don't be naughty." His nether sun has already dissolved the divine fruit and is releasing energy. After he relaxed his body, Xiao Yuelon circulated the Sun and Moon Heart Sutra, allowing the energy to fuse back and forth within their bodies. A few days passed. Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon are inside the floating cloud pagoda, seizing the time to cultivate together. They have not come out at all. In a pavilion outside the floating cloud pagoda, Yang Tianhen and Yang Kuei are sitting at table. Beside them are a few old men and young men. "Patriarch, we have too few divine fruits. Moreover, the quality is rather low. There's only 1 chest. Roughly what realm do you think Brother Qin and Miss Yuelon can cultivate to?" Yang Kuei asked. "If 2 people from our Yang family use those divine fruits, they can probably cultivate to the 3rd level of the Xian immortal realm. If it's them, I think they will at most be 2nd level Xian immortals." Yang Tianhin sighed helplessly. I really didn't expect it to be like this. Otherwise, we would have prepared more divine fruits. A young man said doubtfully, why would the divine arrow's spirit choose people with such low cultivation? That little girl and Qin Long from before were also Xian immortals. Now that couple is the same. If they were Earth immortals, how great would that be? Another smart youth also nodded and said, could it be that anyone can obtain the sun-suppressing divine arrow? Yang Tianhin shook his head and said, there must be a reason why the divine arrow's spirit chose them. That little girl and Qin Long's talent is not bad. Even the most talented people in our Yang family cannot compare to them. What about that couple? I can't see any talent, but their mouths are quite powerful. With just a few words, they made the Su family speechless. The young man said again, they are very powerful. Yang Kuei said with a smile, but did not say much. How powerful? The young man asked curiously. Uncle Kuei, tell us honestly, did you capture Xie Tailing because of that Miss Xuanqin's help? Yang Kuei said, they all helped a lot. Seeing that Yang Kuei was unwilling to say more, the young man did not pursue the matter. Instead, he asked another question. Patriarch, is it really okay for the Xie Yang race to participate in the competition for the sun-suppressing divine arrow? Even if they obtain the sun-suppressing divine arrow in the end, aren't they afraid of being devoured by the divine arrow's spirit? Yang Kuei and the others also had the same doubts. I don't know. The Su family is willing to let the Xie Yang race participate in the competition, and the Xie Yang race is also willing to take the risk. What happens in the end is the Xie Yang race's own business. Yang Tianhin looked at the heart of the sun in the sky and said with a frown, in order to obtain the heart of the sun, the Xie Yang race is willing to do anything. Back then, in order to stop our Yang family's powerful warriors, they were like moths flying into a flame. They sacrificed a lot to heavily injure our warriors. Yang Kuei clenched his fists tightly and said angrily, it was also because of that time that the Su family had the opportunity to win the competition and lead the Heart Protection God race. Our warriors were ambushed by them in advance because of the Su family, these bastards. Yang Tianhin sighed. If not for the Su family obstructing us, we would have destroyed the space established by the Xie Yang race long ago, and there wouldn't be so many problems. The heart of the sun must have been facing a huge threat. That's why it summoned the sun-suppressing divine arrow. At this time, an old man suddenly walked over and shouted, Patriarch, the Su family wrote you a letter. Yang Tianhin took the letter and looked at it. After he finished reading, he handed it over to Yang Kuei. Yang Kuei finished reading it in an instant and said, this is a good thing. The Su family wants to give us the divine fruit. Is it really a good thing? They said that little brother Qin has a very strong sacred tool in his hands. They want to use the Su family's divine fruit to gamble with little brother Qin's sacred tool. If little brother Qin loses, not only will he not be able to obtain the divine fruit, he will also lose his sacred artifact. He might even be injured or killed. Yang Tianhin shook his head. These people from the Su clan are very cunning right now. A youth said in astonishment. That little brother Qin actually has a sacred tool? No wonder Uncle Kuei was able to take down Xie Taiming. Yang Tianhin is not surprised. When he saw Qin Yun's floating cloud pagoda, he knew that it is a very powerful pagoda. Therefore, he guessed that Qin Yun has very powerful equipment. Many of Xie Tianming's subordinates have seen Qin Yun's equipment, and they also passed it on to the Su family. The people from a Su family know that the person chosen by the sun-suppressing divine arrow is definitely not bad. They are somewhat worried, so they are now thinking of a way to affect Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon and prevent them from participating in the final competition. Brother Qin's strength is pretty good. If the other party sends out a first-layer Xian immortal, I think that with little brother Qin's strength, he should be able to defeat them. Yang Kuei said with a smile, I'll call you little brother Qin. Yang Tianhin did not immediately agree. Patriarch, the Su family is sending the divine fruit. This is the only way to obtain more resources. Yang Kuei said. All right. Yang Tianhin can only nod his head in agreement. At this time, he needs to gamble. Yang Kuei shouted from below the pagoda. Brother Qin, there's good news. Although Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon are on the 20th floor, they can still hear people shouting outside. Good news? Could it be that Aunt Xiao has cultivated a sacred level soul? Impossible. It has only been 5 days. Qin Yun said. Let's go out and take a look. Xiao Yuelon said. Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon walked out. When they saw Yang Tianhin, they immediately greeted him politely. He took the letter and looked at it. He said with a smile, the Su family challenged us and also 100 divine fruits. This is very good. Xiao Yuelon also moved closer to look at the letter and asked. They didn't say how they want to compete. Let's talk to them first and ensure that it is fair enough. We are willing to accompany you. All right, I'll reply to them right away. Yang Tianhin took out a pen and paper and began writing. Because the space in the tribe is very stable and they can't fly, they can only use pen and paper to send messages. Of course, if they directly shout, the Su family members in the distance can hear them clearly, but it will affect others. Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon sat in the pavilion and patiently waited for the messenger to return. After a short while, an old man ran over and handed Yang Tianhin a letter. Yang Tianhin read the contents as he read it. After Qin Yun finished listening, he said, They don't plan to directly compete with us. Instead, they want us to go to the beast battle arena to fight. You are the people chosen by the sun-suppressing divine arrow. Of course, they won't dare to act recklessly, otherwise they will lose their lives. Yang Tianhin said. The letter says that as long as you could defeat a ghost beast in the beast battle arena, you can obtain 100 divine fruits. 100 divine fruits is still a lot, because the box of divine fruits Yang Tianhin gave Qin Yun and company only had 100. That's not a problem. Let them add another 100. We can use 2 Saint Tier equipment to bet with them. Xiao Yuelon said. A meteor hammer and a set of Saint Tier armor. Although the Saint Tier armor is damaged, it can still be used to put on an act. 2 little friends, this bet is a bit big. Yang Tianhin is very confident in Xiao Yuelon and somewhat worried. How strong are their ghost beasts? They can't be the strongest earth immortal ghost beasts, right? Qin Yun asked. Chapter 1434. Ox-Dragon Man without using the sun-suppressing divine arrow and equipment. Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon are still very strong, so they don't care. Although they have the divine liquid provided by the star god, they feel that it is still not enough. They need to fight for more resources. After all, this is related to whether or not they can obtain the approval of the sun-suppressing divine arrow. Obtaining the sun-suppressing divine arrow is not only because they obtained a divine tool, they can also enter the sun's heart to cultivate and absorb the special power inside. After cultivating to the 9th level of the Earth Immortal Realm, they can activate the sun-suppressing divine arrow's mysterious power. No problem. Agree to them. Xiao Yuelon said, It's best to start immediately. Our time is very tight. Yang Tianhin saw that Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon are so confident, he did not say much. He already knew from Yang Kuei that this couple is very strong. They should not lose to people of the same level. After Yang Tianhin and Su Tiangao contacted each other through letters, they confirmed that it will start in 6 hours at the Su family's largest beast battle arena. Let's go, we will go to the Su family now. Yang Tianhin also called many people to follow. After all, this is the Su family's territory. The Su family's momentum is definitely very big. If Qin Yun's side does not have enough people, they will appear much weaker. The Su family's largest beast battle arena is circular and very large. When Qin Yun and company arrived, there are also many people sitting inside, more than 20 to 30,000. What surprised them is that not only are there Su family people, there are also more than 10 Xieyang race people. Seeing the Xieyang race people enter the tribe, Yang Tianhin is the most furious, because for so many years, no Xieyang race people have been able to enter the tribe's barrier. But now, the Su family allowed them to enter. The Yang family people are extremely angry. When the Su family people saw their angry expressions, they also mocked them. The Su family wants this kind of effect. For many years, the Yang family has been suppressing the Su family. Now that the Su family controls the entire heart-protecting divine race, not only do they want to seize the Yang family's resources, they also want to negotiate peace with the Xie race. The Yang family's previous path was to completely annihilate the Xie race. And the Su family is deliberately going against the Yang family because they will not do what the Yang family wants to do. Su Tiangao, you have violated the rules of the clan. You will be punished. Yang Tianhen angrily rebuked. Violated the clan rules? Be punished? If I had really betrayed the heart-protecting celestial race, I would have been punished by the heart of the sun. Su Tiangao laughed loudly and said, we made peace with the Xie race in exchange for a rare peace. We don't have to fight with the Xie race in the future, so there won't be any losses. What our Su family has done is much more brilliant than what your Yang family has done. Su Hong laughed coldly and said, idiots from your Yang family, you've been fighting the Xie race with your lives for so many years. Many of your disciples have died, right? That's why you became so weak and lost to us in the tournament. Usually, whoever was in charge of the Heart Protector God race had to fight against the Xie race. When fighting against the Xie race, they had to be at the forefront. The Su family was in charge of the Heart Protecting God race, so they did not want to suffer heavy casualties. Otherwise, their strength would decline. So, in the next large competition, the Yang family might be able to win and regain control of the heart-protecting God race. This was why the Su family negotiated with the Xie race. There were many reasons for this, and it was very beneficial to the Su family. Now, the people of the Yang family finally understood this point, and all of them were extremely angry. If not for the threat of the Xie race, the Yang family would definitely fight to the death with the Su family. If they fought to the death with the Su family now, and both sides suffered heavy losses, then the Xie race would be able to occupy the entire Heart Yang realm. Yang family patriarch, let me introduce you. This is the youngest son of the Xie race's patriarch, young master Xie Yuanfeng. Su Tiangao saw that Yang Tianhen is very angry and continued to add oil to the fire. He laughed mischievously as he pulled a black, clothed youth over. That Xie Yuanfeng looks rather evil and charming. He has a head of long red hair, and that evil and charming white face is slightly cold. He said in a deep voice, who killed great General Xie Tailang? It's me, Qin Yun said indifferently. I killed him. What can you do to me? Then I'll kill you. Xie Yuanfeng bellowed, took out a large black sword, and stabbed towards Qin Yun. Young Master Feng, don't be impulsive. Su Tiangao immediately pulled Xie Yuanfeng back and said in a low voice, that guy has the sun-suppressing divine arrow. So what? I'm not afraid of that whatever sun-suppressing divine arrow. Xie Yuanfeng said coldly, this person killed my Xie race's general. I must behead him. Xie Yuanfeng is the youngest son of the Xie race's patriarch. That patriarch has too many sons. If he wants to stand out, he must do something. If he killed Qin Yun, Xie Yuanfeng will be able to raise his status. Qin Yun said with a sneer, ignorant child who is still wet behind his ears. What did you say? Xie Yuanfeng said angrily. Su Tiangao immediately had people pull Xie Yuanfeng down and said, prepare to start the beast fight. The ghost beasts you're going to deal with are brought by young Master Feng. Is it a Xian immortal level ghost beast? Yang Tianhen asked. Its cultivation is equivalent to the first level of the Xian immortal realm. Su Tiangao said with a treacherous smile. Previously, we agreed that as long as our ghost beast can win, you will give us 2 Saint Tier equipment. Can you let us see those Saint Tier equipment now? Qin Yun took out a meteor hammer and a set of blue Saint Tier armor and said, see? Then what about your divine fruits? When Su Tiangao and the people from the Su family saw the 2 saint artifacts, their eyes immediately lit up. Their eyes were filled with greed and fanaticism. Su Tiangao waved his hand and ordered people to bring up a large box. After opening the box, a burst of golden light burst out from inside. They are 200 extremely high-quality divine fruits. Although these divine fruits don't contain much divine power, after you eat them, you'll be able to increase your cultivation by at least 1 or 2 small realms. Su Tiangao said with a smile. If there are no problems, let's begin. You can begin. Qin Yun looked at the gigantic beast battle arena and said indifferently. Xiao Yuelan also nodded. Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelan walked into the beast battle arena. Su Tiangao also activated the barrier and shouted, "Don't use your equipment. We can see through it." Yang Tianhin and the others are somewhat worried, because they now know that the Su family is extremely treacherous. Seeing Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelan enter the arena, the Su family spectators present all let out all sorts of jeers and taunts. This is a small method that can affect other people's emotions. Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelan are both wearing black tight-fitting clothes. Their expressions are very calm. Facing all sorts of disturbances around them, they are very calm. Of course, upon entering this kind of battlefield, Xiao Yuelan's expression gradually turned ice cold. Killing intent emerged in her bright and beautiful eyes. Killing intent gushed out from her body from time to time. It is as if she has been possessed by a god of slaughter. Qin Yun knows very well that Xiao Yuelan has always been like this. Especially during battle, the killing intent on her body is always difficult to suppress. Back in the floating cloud pagoda, Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelan were still flirting. When she was alone with Qin Yun, Xiao Yuelan was a very sunny and mischievous girl who loved to laugh. Sometimes, she was also very sweet and gentle. But now that they're going to fight, she immediately changed into a different person. On a tall stone wall of the beast battle arena, there is a thick stone door that is slowly opening. The people who were constantly mocking and ridiculing immediately quieted down and looked at the huge, thick stone door. Originally, they thought that a very strong, giant beast would appear. They didn't expect that it would only be a 2-meter-tall ghost beast that could stand upright. This ghost beast is rather special. It has the head of an ox and the horns of a dragon. Its entire body is covered in thick black fur, and the strong muscles on its body are frightening. It is as if it is filled with explosive power, as if all sorts of powerful forces are about to burst out of its muscles. This is my brother. His name is Ox Dragon Man. Although he is a ghost beast, because he has eaten many people, he can grow a body that looks like a human. Xie Yuanfeng, who is in the luxurious seats on the stage, said indifferently with a voice filled with incomparable arrogance, "Ox Dragon Man is very strong. Even if my Xie Yang race's 2nd or 3rd level Xian immortal warriors fought against him, they would only become food." Yang Tianhin took out a mirror and looked at Ox Dragon Man. He said with a frown, "This Ox Dragon Man's cultivation is at the 2nd level Xian immortal level." Su Tiangao, didn't you say that this is a 1st level Xian immortal ghost beast? Don't mind these little details. Su Tiangao chuckled and said, "The barrier has already been opened and Ox Dragon Man has also appeared. We can begin." Xie Yuanfeng said with a sneer, "What a pity for that woman. Haha, for my Ox Dragon Man to be able to eat such delicious food, consider it a reward for him." Yang Tianhin, Yang Kuei, and the others are currently very worried because they don't know what kind of combat strength Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelan would have without relying on equipment. "Begin." Su Tiangao shouted in a clear voice. "Roar." Ox Dragon Man let out a deep roar. His body suddenly swelled up and a gale surged out. Everyone present immediately cried out in alarm, because from within Ox Dragon Man's body, more and more Ox Dragon Men came out. In the blink of an eye, there are 10 Ox Dragon Men on the battlefield. Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelan are surrounded by 10 Ox Dragon Men. Xie Yuanfeng laughed proudly and said, "This is Ox Dragon Man's invincible doppelganger technique. The strength of the doppelganger is as strong as the main body. The two of them are only 1st level Xian immortals. They will definitely die. Everyone, please cheer for my Ox Dragon Man. You will soon be able to see the scene of Ox Dragon Man eating people. It will be very satisfying. Haha." Ox Dragon Man is invincible. Ox Dragon Man is invincible. Many people imagined that this terrifying Ox Dragon Man would dismember Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon, this beautiful woman. They became very excited and continuously roared. Yuelon, use overwhelming righteous power. Before Qin Yun finished speaking, Xiao Yuelon rushed out. One of her arms is bursting with dense dragon energy. Qin Yun promptly used tree totem power. Suddenly, black tree vines burst out from the ground and bound the 10 Ox Dragon men who were about to attack. In the blink of an eye, Xiao Yuelon arrived in front of Ox Dragon Man. A dark red mist appeared on her jade-like palm and condensed into a mighty dragon head. When the palm struck, the dragon head roared furiously. The palm wind is like thunder and landed on Ox Dragon Man's head. Boom! Dark red thunder and lightning burst out from Ox Dragon Man's head. Thunder and lightning flew everywhere. It is like a dragon's roar. Chapter 1435. 1435 Chapter 1435 Heaven Killing Palm. Those people who were shouting Bull Dragon Person is invincible are immediately tongue-tied and unable to shout anymore. They're all secretly cursing Xie Yuanfeng in their hearts. They boasted that Bull Dragon Person was so awesome, but they didn't expect him to be so weak. He was actually killed by a weak woman in one move. The remaining 9 Bull Dragon Person's bodies are tightly entangled by the tree vines. They're constantly struggling. After Xiao Yuelon killed one, she charged towards another. Roar! Xiao Yuelon's palm wind is like a dragon. It let out a mighty dragon roar and hit the head of a Bull Dragon Person, causing his head to explode. Another Bull Dragon Person died. Xie Yuanfeng, who was feeling proud of himself just now, is now stunned. The Bull Dragon Person is his ghost beast. He is well aware of how powerful the Bull Dragon Person is, but now it was instantly killed by a first-stage Xian Immortal. A black shadow suddenly appeared on one of Qin Yun's arms. It condensed into a huge heavenly lion claw. The long claws are erected like sharp blades. This is Heavenly Lion Bow Dragon Claw. He charged towards an Ox Dragon Man and swept his claws over. The Ox Dragon Man was struck by a few sharp claws. His body broke into several pieces. Boom! Qin Yun's other palm slapped down. The palm energy carried a very strong flame, as well as overwhelming righteous power. It burned the Bull Dragon Person's evil body to ashes. The third Bull Dragon Person's avatar was destroyed. The dumbstruck crowd all let out low cries at this moment. Xiao Yuelon and Qin Yun's strength is actually so terrifying. They are only first-stage Xian Immortals, yet they are able to deal with a Bull Dragon Person whose cultivation is equivalent to a second-stage Xian Immortal so easily. Yang Tianhen laughed heartily again and again, completely relieved. Yang Yu said with a smile, I already said that Brother Qin and Miss Yuelon are very strong. They are indeed very strong. We don't have to worry. That Bull Dragon Person is not their match at all. Xiao Yuelon and Qin Yun had both used the power of overwhelming righteousness. They could easily kill things like ghost beasts. Su Tiangao and the other Su family elders gnashed their teeth because they might lose. At that time, not only would they lose the divine fruits, they would also be ridiculed by the Yang family. Right now, they can already see the ridicule in Yang Tianhen and the others' eyes. Don't be complacent. All of you will be killed by the Ox Dragons. Xie Yuanfeng anxiously shouted, Ox Dragon Person, quickly use your strongest power and kill those 2 guys. The bull-headed dragons were 10 against 2, but as soon as the battle started, 3 of them were killed. The tree vines released by Qin Yun were extremely tough. A very strong Xian immortal power flowed within them. The Xian immortal power was activated by the overwhelming righteous martial spirit. The power inside the Ox Dragon Person's body was evil. Even if it was released, it would be purified by the overwhelming righteous energy inside the tree vines. Xiao Yuelon and Qin Yun are also crazily attacking the Ox Dragon Man. Right now, they did not directly kill him because they felt that it was not satisfying. Instead, they treated him like a punching bag, continuously beating him up and practicing all kinds of martial skills. The onlookers are all shocked. Everyone can tell that Xiao Yuelon and Qin Yun deliberately did not kill the Bull Dragon Man. They just want to beat him up for fun. Xie Yuanfeng constantly roared. His expression is extremely unsightly. It is as if he has been stepped on a few times. His expression is very sinister. "You two bastards, you will die very miserably," Xie Yuanfeng furiously said. "Hurry up and get rid of those damn tree vines. You are violating the rules." "Stupid dog, quickly shut up, you disgraceful thing," Yang Kuei shouted. "Can't you see that those tree vines are formed from immortal power? An idiot like you should just obediently stay in the doghouse. Don't come out and show off your ignorance. Even I feel embarrassed for you." Xie Yuanfeng furiously glared at Yang Kuei. Suddenly, an explosion came out from the beast battle arena. Qin Yun lightly poked an ox dragon person's body with his finger and pierced through it. "Bastard, quickly stop. Weak things like you should just stand there and let the ox dragon person beat you up. You should just be eaten by him." Xie Yuanfeng is infuriated. He said many childish and ridiculous words. When Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon heard Xie Yuanfeng's words, they felt very speechless. They are still violently beating up the ox dragon person. Boom, boom, boom. The two of them also took advantage of this opportunity to test the power of some martial techniques against ghost beasts to see how effective they are in actual combat. If they attack the Xie Yang race in the future, they will definitely face many powerful ghost beasts. Therefore, they should take advantage of this opportunity to understand more powerful ghost beasts. Seeing Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon abuse the ox dragon person, Yang Kuei exclaimed in surprise. If the two of them become Earth Immortals, their strength will definitely be very terrifying. Yang Tianhen nodded and said, "Yes." As expected of the people chosen by the sun-suppressing divine arrow, not only does their immortal power surpass the limits of their cultivation, it also carries a special power. An old man from the Yang family said, when they made their move, the energy aura they released made the ox dragon people feel fear. What kind of power is that? Look at the tree vines binding the ox dragon person's body. Although the tree vines are black, they are releasing a faint white light. It looks like a very pure energy, as if it is burning and corroding the ox dragon person's body. That's right. Could it be a power that specializes in restraining ghost beasts? Many of the Yang family's elders are discussing. Su Tiangao said coldly, "Although those two fellows are powerful, don't forget that they're only first-layer Xian immortals. If they were to face Earth immortals, there would still be a huge gap." "Su Tiangao, what are you trying to say?" Yang Tianhen asked. When competing for the sun-suppressing divine arrow, they faced Earth immortals. As far as I know, your Yang family only has 100 or so divine fruits, and they're all leftover low-quality divine fruits. Su Tiangao said with sneer, "There's still less than 3 months left. Can they become Earth Immortals?" "It's simply impossible, because at most they can only be at the Xian Immortal realm and can't defeat our Earth Immortals." Yang Kuei said, "Don't we still have your 200 divine fruits?" Su Tiangao laughed loudly and said, "Even if they obtain our 200 divine fruits, so what? At most, they can only become third-layer Xian Immortals. They have no hope of becoming Earth Immortals. Even if God comes, he won't be able to make them Earth Immortals." As long as the Su family could obtain 2 sun-suppressing divine arrows and enter the sun's core to cultivate, their strength would increase further. Yang Tianhen and the others' expressions are somewhat unsightly, because what Su Tiangao said is true. Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon can't become Earth Immortals within 3 months. Even if they have enough divine fruits, they won't have enough time. Suddenly, cries of alarm came from the beast battle arena. Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon shot out a stream of energy at the same time. When it landed on Bull Dragon Man's body, it turned him into powder. It is extremely powerful. "Yuelon, you learn really fast. You mastered the piercing mountain, splitting earth finger so quickly," Qin Yun said with smile. It's time for you to teach me a martial art. When everyone heard Qin Yun's words, they all felt incredulous. This young couple, when facing a strong enemy, actually taught each other martial arts cultivation techniques. That childish Xie Yuanfeng is jumping up and down in anger. Xiao Yuelan said, I will teach you a move called Heaven Killing Palm. After speaking, she raised her jade-like palm and a wave of killing intent rushed out. The aura of that killing intent seems to be able to kill everything. Xiao Yuelan also immediately transmitted her voice and transmitted the mantra to Qin Yun. After Qin Yun received the voice transmission, he frowned and pondered. Xiao Yuelan walked over and tore apart the tree vines on a Bull Dragon Man's body. Bull Dragon Man broke free from the tree vines and charged at Qin Yun. Xiao Yun, your perception is extremely high. You will definitely be able to comprehend it. Xiao Yuelan smiled gently. Bull Dragon Man roared wildly and quickly charged at Qin Yun in the distance. After receiving the mantra taught by Xiao Yuelan, Qin Yun fell into deep thought. He closed his eyes and pondered over the profoundness of the Heaven Killing Palm. He felt that it is somewhat similar to a Tao technique. Suddenly, the heavenly Tao divine rune within his body slightly throbbed. An incomparably terrifying killing intent surged into his heart. This is the crux of the Heaven Killing Palm. It is to have the aura of one palm annihilating the heavens. Bull Dragon Man, rush over and kill that brat. Xie Yuanfeng shouted. Bull Dragon Man rushed in front of Qin Yun. Qin Yun suddenly opened his eyes, raised his hand, and struck out with a palm, filled with monstrous killing intent. Qin Yun's palm attacked. Just the terrifying killing intent formed an incomparably terrifying energy aura, blowing away the charging Bull Dragon Man and forcing him to retreat. The most terrifying thing is that when the energy aura surged out along with the killing intent, it is like a knife cutting deep wounds on Bull Dragon Man's body. Bull Dragon Man's body is very strong, but after being hit by Qin Yun's palm wind, many deep wounds instantly appeared on his body. Ho! Qin Yun's palm landed on Bull Dragon Man's body, and a burst of whistling sound erupted. Killing intent surged into Bull Dragon Man's body, crushing everything inside. One could hear the sound of bones shattering inside Bull Dragon Man's body. Bull Dragon Man let out a painful roar. His body ruptured with a loud bang, turning into black gas and dissipating. Although Qin Yun successfully unleashed the Heaven Killing Palm, he is still not familiar with it. Furthermore, he did not control the consumption well, causing him to lose a lot of immortal power. Xiao Yuelan nodded and said, Very good. Although you only have 50% of my power, you can quickly comprehend it. Originally, everyone thought that Bull Dragon Man was very strong, but now he is being used as a practice target, causing people to suspect that Bull Dragon Man is a big deal. Su Tiangao's expression is somewhat ugly. He said to Xie Yuanfeng in a low voice, Young Master Feng, is your Bull Dragon Man okay? Why is it so weak? It doesn't even have the slightest bit of combat power. Of course, my Bull Dragon Man is very strong. Those two guys must have cheated. Xie Yuanfeng cursed loudly. Su Tiangao felt that he was cheated miserably by Xie Yuanfeng. If they lost, they would have to pay 200 divine fruits. Previously, they thought that Xie Yuanfeng's Bull Dragon Man was very strong. Xiao Yuelan and Qin Yun are competing in martial skills on the battlefield, causing Bull Dragon Man to constantly scream miserably. However, not long after, only 2 Bull Dragon Men are left. Bang! Qin Yun used Heaven Killing Palm, and Xiao Yuelan used Heaven Explosion Finger to completely kill the remaining Bull Dragon Man. Xie Yuanfeng shouted angrily from the viewing platform. You two beasts, you cheated. I want to tear you into 10,000 pieces. I want you to accompany my Bull Dragon Man in death. Don't be childish. Yang Kuei sneered. Su family, you lost. Quickly give us the fruits. After Su Tiangao removed the barrier, more than 10 people wearing black clothes and masks jumped on a battlefield and charged towards Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelan. Chapter 1436. battle against Xie Yang Manxie Yuan Feng did not rush down. Instead, he laughed sinisterly and said, "That's right. Go and twist their heads off. You're all third-level Xian immortals, and you're using equipment, so it's definitely not a problem for you to kill them." Seeing this, Yang Kuei and Yang Tianhen were about to rush down. However, Su Tiango and many other experts from the Su family went over to stop them. "What are you doing? Get out of the way," Yang Tianhen said angrily. "Do you want to start a war with our Yang family? That's not it. If you kill the Xie Yang race's people, then according to the treaty, we have to let the 10,000 Xie Yang race people in." Su Tiangao laughed. "Don't worry about those two fellows. They have the sun-suppressing divine arrow. Nothing will happen to them. If the Xie Yang race is killed by them, then we won't violate the treaty." "Damn you!" Yang Tianhen roared. His eyes were spitting fire as he raised his palm. Come on. Let's fight until both sides are heavily injured. Then let the Xie Yang race invade the tribe and control the Heart Yang realm." Su Tiangao hurriedly hugged Yang Tianhen and chuckled. Yang Kuei and the others were also stopped by many Su family members. Obviously, the Su family wants to stop the Yang family from helping Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon. When Xiao Yuelon and Qin Yun saw the Xie Yang race approaching, their expressions immediately turned gloomy. They immediately took out their sun-suppressing divine arrow. "Yuelon, there are 10 people in total. Let's see who can kill the most." Qin Yun said, "I must be the one who killed more." As Xiao Yuelon spoke, her figure flashed past, using passing shadow extinction breath step. Qin Yun's 9 extinction steps was extremely useful. Xiao Yuelon had learned it from Yang Shiyu before, but she did not learn it deeply enough. When she was with Qin Yun earlier, she had asked for a lot of advice. When the people on the viewing platform saw the Xian immortal warriors of the Xie Yang race taking action, they knew that Xie Yuanfeng was furious to the extreme, so he sent people to kill Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon. "Kill them." Xie Yuanfeng laughed sinisterly. "This young master will reward you." Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon used passing shadow extinction breath and disappeared in the blink of an eye. When they appeared behind 2 black-clothed men. The sun-suppressing divine arrow in their hands pierced through the heads of the 2 black-clothed men. Boom! After using the sun-suppressing divine arrow to kill the 2 black-robed men, they each used the piercing mountain splitting earth finger to attack the other 2 black-robed men. The piercing mountain splitting earth finger carried the heavenly might, Tao Dipper, and overwhelming righteous power as it struck the black-clothed man's head. It immediately pierced through the evil energy barrier and left a bowl-sized hole in his head. In an instant, they killed 4 Xian immortal warriors of the Xie Yang race. Hoo-hoo! Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon suddenly disappeared in a flash. When they appeared, they saw that 2 Xian immortal warriors of the Xie Yang race had their heads pierced by the sun-suppressing divine arrow. At this moment, the Xian immortal warriors of the Xie Yang race also reacted and attacked from afar. However, Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon's body have overwhelming righteous energy shield. Those evil power attacks are unable to break through their defense. Dying, Xiao Yuelon stabbed the sun-suppressing divine arrow in her hand from afar. Whoosh! The sun-suppressing divine arrow brought with it terrifying power as it stabbed into a Xie Yang race warrior's body, causing it to explode. Rumble! Qin Yun also used the sun-suppressing divine arrow to pierce through a Xie Yang race warrior. The people on the viewing platform all opened their eyes wide as they watched in disbelief. 10 Xian immortal warriors of the Xie Yang race surrounded and attacked 2 people. However, before they could even exchange a few moves, more than half of them were killed. When Su Tiangao saw that Xie Yuanfeng was about to rush down, he also rushed over with his fastest speed and blocked Xie Yuanfeng. Xie Yuanfeng shouted angrily, "Quickly kill them! Su Tiangao, you are the strongest Earth Immortal in the Su family. You can kill them in one move. Quickly do it." Of course, Su Tiangao wanted to, but Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon had the sun-suppressing divine arrow in their hands. If he killed these 2 people, he might be punished by the sun-suppressing divine arrow. As for the punishment of the sun-suppressing divine arrow, they only heard about it from legends. Whether it was true or not, they didn't know, and they didn't dare to take the risk. The people that Xie Yuanfeng brought were all killed, and they all died miserably. At this moment, everyone felt that Xie Yuanfeng was being unreasonable. It was clearly because his ox-dragon man was weak that he was killed. After the battle ended, he actually sent people to besiege Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelan, not abiding by the rules of the beast battle arena at all. Yang Tianhen and the others jumped into the huge battlefield and rushed to Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelan's side to protect them. They are very happy to see Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelan kill the Xieyang race people. When Yang Tianhen and the others entered the beast battle arena and saw the Xieyang race people, they wanted to kill them. They couldn't make a move because Su Tiangao would definitely stop them. Now, the only Xieyang race person left in the beast battle arena is Xie Yuanfeng. This made them feel very relieved, especially when they saw Xie Yuanfeng's flustered and exasperated appearance. They became even more happy. If you agree to bet, you must accept defeat. Su Tiangao, take out the divine fruit. Yang Tianhen said, "All right, we will give it to you in 3 months." Su Tiangao said, You all are shameless." Yang Tianhen is very angry and shouted loudly. Su Tiangao said, "Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelan killed so many Xieyang race friends, and they seem to have cheated, so we need a period of time to investigate." "Bullshit, Xieyang race friends. Are you going to give it or not?" Yang Tianhen has never been so angry before. He shouted angrily. "I'm not shameless. I've already promised to give it to you. It's just that it will be 3 months later." Su Tiangao laughed and said, "Yang family head, I didn't say when I would give it to you, did I?" Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelan's expression are not good. Su Tiangao is clearly shameless. "We underestimated this guy's face. I didn't expect him to be shameless to this extent," Qin Yun said coldly. "Hey, don't scold people. You might have cheated. You're only first layer Xian immortals, yet you were able to face 10 powerful bull dragon people so easily. This doesn't make sense." Su Tiangao said, "That's right, they cheated. They killed my bull dragon people and my subordinates. I must cut off their heads," Xie Yuanfeng said angrily. Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelan looked at each other and nodded. Suddenly, a very strong power condensed in their bodies. "What are you doing?" Su Tiangao suddenly felt that something is wrong. Boom, boom, boom. The earth shook violently. It is Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelan who released the earthquake divine ability. The two of them clenched their hands tightly and operated the Sun and Moon Heart Sutra. They released the earthquake divine ability power together and poured it into the earth. Moreover, they controlled the earthquake wave to cover the Su family. The spectator stands of the beast battle arena are all made of stone. At this moment, they suddenly shook violently, causing the huge beast battle arena to suddenly collapse. The most terrifying thing is that many of the Su family's buildings collapsed along with the violent undulation of the earth. Feeling the vibration of this magnitude, the faces of Su Tiangao and the others turned green. They knew that many of their Su family's buildings will be destroyed. "You two bastards!" Su Tiangao shouted angrily. He was about to rush over, but when he saw Yang Tianhen and the others' murderous looks, he did not immediately rush over. "How is our strength? Defeating the dragon people should not be a problem," Qin Yun said coldly. "They are currently on the battlefield, and the earth is also cracking." Suddenly, a tree vine drilled out from the ground and wrapped around Xie Yuanfeng's legs. Then, it quickly pulled Xie Yuanfeng underground. Qin Yun immediately took out the floating cloud pagoda and entered with Xiao Yuelan. He also brought Xie Yuanfeng in. After Xie Yuanfeng was brought in, Xiao Yuelan immediately punched and kicked him. The sun-suppressing divine arrow in her hand even stabbed Xie Yuanfeng's body a few times. "Are you guys crazy?" Su Tiangao shouted angrily. Many sinister veins appeared on his intrepid face. Xie Yuanfeng is tied up by many tree vines. Only his head is exposed. Xiao Yuelan pointed the sun-suppressing divine arrow at Xie Yuanfeng's head and said coldly, "I will count to 10, hand over 200 divine fruits to the Yang family patriarch. If you can't do it, I will kill this idiot." 1, 2, Xie Yuanfeng shouted. "Su Tiangao, quickly save me. If I die here, you will also be finished." Yang Tianhen said with a smile, "Su Tiangao, are you really willing to take out 200 divine fruits to save that idiot?" 7, 8, Xiao Yuelon counted. Su Tiangao immediately ordered people to bring the box over. Xiao Yuelon also stopped counting. Yang Tianhen took the box and said to Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon, "Don't be in a hurry to release him. Let me check first." Very quickly, Yang Tianhen confirmed that the divine fruits are real. Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon also attacked Xie Yuanfeng with a palm strike. Xie Yuanfeng was seriously injured by the sun-suppressing divine arrow. He is now extremely angry. He cursed Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon while vomiting blood. "Let's go." Yang Tianhen handed over the divine fruit to Qin Yun and said with a laugh. Su Tiangao's expression is gloomy and unsightly. He gritted his teeth and looked at Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon. At this moment, many Su family members are cursing Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon for collapsing more than half of their Su family's buildings. After Yang Tianhen returned to the Yang family, his mood is incomparably carefree. Along the way, he constantly praised Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon with Yang Kuei and others. Many of the Su family's houses were destroyed, and they are now being rebuilt in a hurry. Because Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon have the sun-suppressing divine arrow, the Su family can't do anything to them. They can only accept it. After obtaining a large number of divine fruits, Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon began cultivating again. Su Tiangao stood in front of his destroyed square building, gritted his teeth, and cursed in a low voice. "Those two damned bastards. I want to see how long they can be arrogant for. As long as the competition is over, they will lose the sun-suppressing divine arrow. At that time, I will definitely make them suffer a fate worse than death." "Grandfather, Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon are very strong. Now that we have given them 200 divine fruits, will they become Earth Immortals? Once they become Earth Immortals, it will be very difficult to deal with them." A young man said, "Forget about 200 divine fruits. Even if we give them 400, they won't be able to become Earth Immortals. As long as they are not Earth Immortals, we can definitely win against them." Su Tiangao thought of losing 200 divine fruits. He stomped his foot in anger, causing the ground to crack. "Grandfather, how strong will the Earth Immortals sent by the Xieyang race be? Will they be able to compete for 2 sun-suppressing divine arrows?" The young man said worriedly. Chapter 1437. Enemies from a previous life. Yang Tianhen, Yang Kuei, and the other Yang family members were originally very happy to return. However, after Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon entered the floating cloud pagoda to cultivate, their mood gradually became heavy. Because even if they suddenly have 200 high-quality divine fruits, it would still be difficult for Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon to become Earth Immortals. As long as they don't have Earth Immortal cultivation, it will be difficult for them to compete with the Earth Immortals of the Su family and Xieyang race. "Patriarch, how many people will the Su family and Xieyang race send to compete?" Yang Kuei asked. "Excluding the people who have the sun-suppressing divine arrow, there will be at most 200 Earth Immortals. Maybe the Xieyang race and the Su family will each have 100 Earth Immortals." Yang Tianhen let out a long sigh and said, "In 3 months, their cultivation won't be able to increase by much. What should we do?" Yang Kuei frowned and said, "Patriarch, how about we find some seniors and forcefully transfer power into their bodies to help them quickly increase their cultivation?" Yang Tianhen waved his hand. "There is not enough time. This method will take a very long time to refine the energy we transfer. Also, this method is not very stable, and it is easy to make mistakes. If anything goes wrong during the process, they will be destroyed. Is there really no other way?" Yang Kuei suddenly felt very sad. Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon are so outstanding and obtain the recognition of the sun-suppressing divine arrow. However, the competition they're about to face is very unfair to them and will cause them to lose the sun-suppressing divine arrow. We can only resign ourselves to fate. Yang Tianhin said, I hope they can create a miracle. They were chosen by the sun-suppressing divine arrow. I hope the sun-suppressing divine arrow didn't choose the wrong people. Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon are cultivating in the floating cloud pagoda and absorbing the divine fruits. In the Xian immortal realm, as long as Qin Yun improves, more nether sun totems will appear on the body of the little heavenly lion revolving around the nether sun. Those nether sun totems can make Qin Yun's heavenly lion martial arts even more powerful. Furthermore, the heavenly Tao's ferocious power can also be greatly improved. The reason why Yang Tianhin and Su Tiangao feel that Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon won't be able to improve much in 3 months is mainly because there are too few divine fruits, and they have to be divided between 2 people. And now, Xiao Yuelon and Qin Yun are cultivating together. They can use 300 divine fruits together. Not only would it not let the energy of the divine fruit spread out, but it could also make the energy more and stronger when cultivating together. This was the power of the Sun and Moon Heart Sutra. The reason why the Sun and Moon Heart Sutra had such a wondrous effect was mainly because it used the profound meaning of yin and yang. In the blink of an eye, a month passed. Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon both broke through to the 2nd level of the mysterious immortal realm. Although it wasn't considered slow, they only had 2 months left. They had also used up 200 divine fruits. The divine fruits are about to run out. We still have 2 months. We have to at least reach the 8th level of the Xian immortal realm. Xiao Yuelon faintly sighed. I hope the holy infant fruit will give us a pleasant surprise. Over the past month, Qin Yun had attempted to contact the star god, but to no avail. The good news was that Xiao Xianqin had already cultivated a holy level soul. Inside the floating cloud pagoda, Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon heard Yang Tianhin and Yang Kuei shouting outside. Without Qin Yun's control, Xiao Xianqin was unable to enter the floating cloud pagoda. When Qin Yun found out that Xiao Xianqin had cultivated a holy level soul, he felt somewhat apprehensive in his heart, because he and Xiao Xianqin had some conflicts in the past. Although they had reconciled later on, he was afraid that after Xiao Xianqin came to the immortal desolate, the resentment in her heart would surface again. Xiao Yun, don't be afraid. Aunt Xiao won't do anything to you. Don't look at her usually reserved appearance. She is actually very coquettish on the inside. Xiao Yuelon smiled tenderly and said, in my previous life, she and I were good sisters. After you fell out with her, although she scolded you all day, she still missed you very much. Although Xiao Yuelon said this, Qin Yun is still somewhat worried. He nervously arrived at the 1st floor and opened the door. Then he said with a smile, Congratulations, Aunt Xiao. You have cultivated a holy level soul. Xiao Xianqin's beautiful oval face is very calm. Moreover, there's a faint smile on her face. Her beautiful eyes are filled with flirtatiousness as she looked at Qin Yun. Qin Yun is even more worried. This looks like the calm before the storm. Xiao Xianqin entered the floating cloud pagoda. After Qin Yun closed the door, he said, Let's go up. Yuelon is waiting for us. You bastard. Xiao Xianqin followed Qin Yun to the round plate in the corner and said with a low snort, I shouldn't have forgotten the bad things you did to me. Humph. Qin Yun scratched his head and laughed foolishly. This was all done in my previous life. It has nothing to do with me. After Xiao Xianqin cultivated a holy level soul and recovered a portion of her memories, she felt extremely emotional. Now that she saw Qin Yun, it is as if they have reunited after a long time. The complicated feelings she had for Qin Yun became even more complicated. Soon, they arrived at the 20th floor. When Xiao Yuelon saw Xiao Xianqin, she said with a smile, Aunt, didn't you say that Xiao Yun used a bewitching technique to bewitch your heart? Do you still feel that way? Damn, girl, don't say any more. Xiao Xianqin's jade white oval face suddenly turned red. She quickly rushed over and covered Xiao Yuelan's mouth. She said lightly, "You are the same as Yuemei, always saying embarrassing words." Qin Yun said, "Aunt Xiao, let's begin cultivation. And time is of the essence right now." Xiao Xianqin nodded and said softly, "Let's begin." Xiao Yuelan curled her lips and said, "Boring. I thought Aunt was going to shout at Xiao Yun to kill him. I didn't expect you to be so calm." Xiao Xianqin sat cross-legged on a soft cushion and looked at Xiao Yuelan with hidden bitterness. "Yuelan, I have already reconciled with Xiao Yun. As long as he doesn't awaken the memories of his previous life, I won't hate him. Qin Sheng, Tianzi, and I cultivated together with him for a period of time. We were good friends at that time. He even gave me his sword. All right, beautiful fairy Yue Qin, let's begin cultivation." Xiao Yuelan giggled. Qin Yun sat down and placed his palm on Xiao Xianqin's jade-like palm. When Xiao Xianqin touched Qin Yun's palm, her body slightly moved. There is something wrong with her expression, and her jade-like face is slightly red. She slightly lowered her head, not daring to look at Qin Yun. Seeing this, Xiao Yuelan laughed and teased. "Aunt, bring out the spirit you had when you chased after immortal King Fu Yun in your previous life. Xiao Yun's current cultivation is not as high as yours. What are you shy about?" I'm just not used to it." Xiao Xianqin bit her lips, then raised her head and said, "Let's quickly begin. I am an earth immortal with a very high cultivation. I will take the lead." Qin Yun is responsible for absorbing the divine fruit. Xiao Xianqin is responsible for controlling the energy to enter her body to strengthen and then transfer it into Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelan's body. After starting, Xiao Xianqin faintly sighed. "Past life, this life, meeting the same people, doing the same things. Everything is so familiar. Despicable and shameless immortal King Fu Yun. He tricked our Guanghan Palace's beauty to cultivate the Sun and Moon Heart Sutra with him. The reason he could become immortal King Fu Yun is also because of us." Xiao Yuelan looked at Qin Yun, stuck out her tongue, and said with a light smile. Xiao Xianqin said in a low voice, "You can't say that. In our previous life, we also received a lot of kindness from him. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been able to become stronger so quickly." Qin Yun said, "What I owe you in my previous life, I will definitely do my best to make up for it in this life. Let's not talk about this anymore. We are still able to cultivate together. No matter what, it is a rare fate." Xiao Xianqin sighed. Xiao Yuelan nodded and said, "Xiao Yun, what you have to do in this life is to take revenge. It was the devil immortal great emperor and the immortal desolate great emperor who joined hands to destroy the Guanghan Palace and killed us. We must kill them. These two guys definitely want to destroy the Guanghan Palace again." Xiao Xianqin said, "Fortunately, our Guanghan Palace's current strength is not weak. Otherwise, we would really be destroyed by them again." At this moment, Qin Yun also sensed the powerful energy that Xiao Xianqin transferred in. This made him and Xiao Yuelan feel a lot more at ease, because with Xiao Xianqin joining in, they can improve even faster. Qin Yun suddenly thought of Yao Fang. Then, he told Xiao Yuelan and Xiao Xianqin about Yao Fang's matter in detail. Xiao Xianqin said with a frown, "This woman called Yao Fang is very concerned about Yuelan and Yuemei. Furthermore, she has always wanted to obtain the 9-Sun World Extermination Scripture. She has been missing for many years, and her whereabouts are unknown." She looked at Xiao Yuelan and saw that Xiao Yuelan's face is filled with astonishment. "Who is she?" Qin Yun promptly asked. Xiao Xianqin and Xiao Yuelan seemed to have an answer. "Xiao Yun, did she really obtain the 9-Sun World Extermination Scripture?" Xiao Yuelan asked. "And she is currently learning, and she has been learning for a very long time." Qin Yun sighed and said, "I have always felt very guilty for causing her to become like that in my previous life." Xiao Yuelan and Xiao Xianqin looked at each other. Apparently, they are communicating with each other. "Who exactly is Sister Yao Fang? I want to know about her," Qin Yun asked. Don't feel guilty. She said before that as long as she can cultivate the 9-sun world extermination scripture, she is willing to pay any price. Now that she has it, she won't blame you anymore. Xiao Yuelon sighed lightly. I wonder where she is now. Qin Yun said, back then, she came to the immortal desolate with Shui, Ru, and the others. Didn't Shui, Ru, and the others mention this matter? Xiao Yuelon thought for a moment, then nodded and said, they did, but they don't know where she went. After we finish dealing with the matters here, we will return to the immortal desolate to find her. Qin Yun said, I am worried that she will go find the devil immortal great emperor, or be found by him. The most important thing now is to obtain the sun-suppressing divine arrow. With the sun-suppressing divine arrow, it will be much easier to deal with the devil immortal great emperor in the future. Xiao Xianqin said, what I am worried about is that after we leave the Heart-Yang realm and return to the immortal desolate, there will be another big change there. Xiao Yuelon is deeply worried and said, the Guanghan Palace is on the moon, and the moon has a very big secret. When the world is about to be exterminated, all kinds of changes are astonishingly fast. For example, the descent of the Sun Divine Stone and the Sun Altar is very sudden. At this moment, Qin Yun and the other two need even more formidable power because they still have to annihilate the evil sun race before they can return to the immortal desolate. Chapter 1438. Mysterious Emissary. On the 20th floor of the floating cloud pagoda, the divine fruits inside the box beside Qin Yun have already been used up, and it has only been a little more than a month. With Xiao Xianqin joining the cultivation, the consumption of divine fruits became even faster, meaning that their cultivation speed became even faster. Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon also improved by a lot. They are now 4th-level Xian immortals. Qin Yun looked at the situation of the Nether Sun and discovered that the totem runes on the little heavenly lion's surface are increasing. The Xian immortal power inside the Nether Sun is also increasing. The heavenly lion looks even stronger, especially that ferocious aura. Even Qin Yun himself feels somewhat apprehensive. When will the Nether Sun totem on the heavenly lion's body be complete? Don't tell me it has to cultivate to the 9th level of the Xian immortal realm? Qin Yun thought. He is now at the 4th level of the Xian immortal realm, but the Nether Sun totem on the little heavenly lion's body is still not complete. Although there are not many Nether Sun totem, the heavenly Tao's ferocious aura is getting stronger and stronger. There are no more divine fruits. Xiao Xianqin said, Xiao Yun, take out the holy infant fruit. Qin Yun nodded, then took out the holy infant fruit and placed it in a small jade basin. There is still a lot of divine liquid inside the small jade basin. It can be continuously absorbed by the holy infant fruit. The energy released by the holy infant fruit is very strong. Qin Yun, Xiao Yuelon, and Xiao Xianqin can directly absorb it and then cultivate together. Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon use the divine fruit to cultivate. In less than half a month, they have cultivated to the 4th level of the Xian immortal realm. This can be considered very good. Outside, Yang Tianhen is very anxious. He is walking back and forth. Because Qin Yun did not come out during this period of time, they are worried that Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon would be too anxious to break through and enter cultivation deviation. Yang Kuei said, Family head, evil sun race's 100 Earth Immortals have already entered the Su family. They are receiving training in the Su family. What kind of competition would it be during the competition? Will it be a battle or something? We don't know yet. When the time comes, the sun's core will guide us. Yang Tianhen looked at the sun's core in the sky and muttered, I hope that little girl and Qin Long can become powerful 9th-level Earth Immortals. Only then will we have the power to counterattack when facing the worst situation. Patriarch, don't you think Brother Qin and Miss Yuelan will win? Yang Kuei asked with a frown. It's not that I'm not optimistic, but it's not realistic for them to become Earth Immortals in such a short period of time. We have to prepare for the worst. Yang Tianhen waved his hand. Yang Kuei believes that Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon can become stronger. An old man suddenly rushed in and shouted, "Patriarch, it's not good. The Xieyang race has sent even stronger people in. It seems to be the Xieyang race patriarch and some elders. The Su family is truly a piece of shit. They actually let such a powerful guy in. Our heart protection divine race is going to perish." Yang Tianhen cursed loudly. "Let's go and take a look," the old man said anxiously. We don't need to go over. They are coming." Yang Tianhen's expression changed. What are they doing here? Was he going to stir up trouble again? The incident with the Su family last time caused them to suffer quite a bit. Didn't they suffer enough last time? I don't know who they are, but they definitely came with ill intentions. The old man said with a grave expression, "Patriarch, should we prepare to fight them? Get ready." Yang Tianen's expression is ice cold as he shouted. Not long after, many people gathered in a large plaza in the middle of the Yang family. The patriarchs and patriarchs of the Su family and Xieyang race have all arrived. There are also many powerful clan elders. After Yang Tianen arrived, he angrily rebuked, "What are you doing in our Yang family's territory?" Su Tiangao chuckled and said, "Yang family patriarch, don't be so nervous. The Xieyang race friends came here mainly to greet you. After all, they are guests, and you can be considered as half a master here." Su Hong said with sneer, "Yang family, you seem to be very afraid? Who told you to be Great General Xie Taiming?" Speaking of Xie Tianming's death, the expression of the Xieyang race people became somewhat unsightly. Xie Yuanfeng furiously shouted, "Quickly let Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon, those two bastards, come out. They joined hands to kill my bull dragon people and also killed my subordinates. I want them to come out and admit their wrongs." Yang Tianhen said, "Quickly leave our Yang family's territory. Our Yang family does not welcome you." Su Tiangao said, "Yang Tianhen, the friends of the Xieyang race are much more brilliant than us in terms of inscription. They came here this time to see Qin Yun's stone building and the saint tool in his hands. Tell him to come out." "He doesn't have time," Yang Tianhen said. "Ah, they are really cultivating. What do you think they are doing? It is clearly impossible for them to have a chance. They should just obediently enjoy it." Su Tiangao chuckled and said, "All right, since they don't have time, then we will also take our leave." After speaking, Su Tiangao left with the Xieyang race people. After they left, Yang Tianhen is very angry because Su Tiangao clearly brought the Xieyang race people to provoke him. "Pass down the order, properly guard our Yang family's territory. If anyone else sneaks in, kill them all," Yang Tianhen said coldly. "Our Yang family's territory, we cannot allow the Xieyang race to enter." "Yes." A group of people replied. Yang Tianhen said again, "Yang Kuei, bring some people to guard little brother Qin's courtyard. Don't let anyone come near and cause trouble. If anyone from a Su family or the Xieyang race comes near, cripple them." "Patriarch, I understand." Yang Kuei nodded and said. After Su Tiangao and the Xieyang race people returned, they entered a secret room. "Everyone, do you think that husband and wife can become earth immortals?" Su Tiangao said, "Although it is very impossible, I am still very worried. According to the strength they displayed, they are not simple. Maybe they have other resources in their hands." Su Hong shook his head and said, "That guy's stone building is very sturdy. It will be very difficult for us to break through." An old man from the Xieyang race said, "That brat killed Xie Taiming. We can't let him off. We will send people to sneak in and figure out that brat's situation, then kill him." "You better not act recklessly," Su Tiangao promptly said. "Even if we go over, it will be useless. Qin Yun is hiding in the pagoda and won't come out. What's more, he has the sun-suppressing divine arrow in his hands. That is no joke." Su Hong said, "During the competition, we should have a chance to get rid of the two of them. At that time, our two families will work together, and we will definitely be able to obtain a sun-suppressing divine arrow." Xieyang race and Su family people want to get rid of Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon in advance to avoid any unexpected events. However, After careful consideration, they did not make a move because they are not confident in breaking through the floating cloud pagoda. What they can do now is to make the disciples participating in the competition stronger. At that time, they will be able to suppress Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon and obtain the sun-suppressing divine arrow. Time passed very quickly. There are only 2 days left from the 3-month time limit. The 2 suns in the sky suddenly shot down 2 beams of light. The 2 beams of light landed on the spacious road that separated the Yang family and Su family. Su family and Yang family people, as well as the Xie Yang race people, quickly rushed over. After they arrived, they discovered that there are 2 bald men standing there. Their bodies are muscular, and they only wear black pants. Their appearances are ordinary, but the 2 of them look exactly the same. Furthermore, their faces are expressionless, and their eyes are lifeless and devoid of emotion. We are the divine arrow emissaries. We are responsible for arranging for you to compete. Please let the person with the divine arrow come out and hand over the sun-suppressing divine arrow to us for safekeeping. One of the bald men said. Su Tiangao shouted at Yang Tianhen. Yang family head, why aren't you calling out that couple? Yang Tianhen promptly said, Emissary, they are still cultivating. Can we wait 2 more days? No. The bald man's voice is ice-cold and ruthless. Ha ha, what's the use of them cultivating? Su Tiangao mocked. Emissary, can the Xie race people also participate in the competition? Yang Tian'en looked at the Xie race people and asked, as long as you can come here, you can participate in the competition. Of course, your Yang family is excluded because you have already obtained 2 sun-suppressing divine arrows. The bald man said, the Xie race is our enemy. Yang Tianhen said, if the enemy can come here, then it's no longer our business, but your business. The reason why they can participate in the competition is also because of your permission. The bald man urged, hurry up and let the person with the sun-suppressing divine arrow out. Yang Tianhen really couldn't understand what these 2 emissaries were thinking. The Xie race was clearly their enemy, yet they could still participate in the competition. The people of Xie race immediately felt a lot more at ease, and their faces were filled with complacent smiles. The people from the Su family were the same. Su Tiangao laughed. I've already said it before, negotiating peace with the Xie race is beneficial to the heart-protecting divine race. Yang family head, stop dawdling, quickly let them out. We can't call them either. Yang Tianhen said, lead the way, let's go find them. The bald man shouted coldly, I know where it is, I'll lead the way. Su Tiangao chuckled and said, Lord Emissary, they are hiding in a very strong stone building. Can you get them out? If they continue to cultivate inside and can't come out, what should we do? We can open it. The bald emissary said very confidently, let's go. Not long after, the 2 bald emissaries arrived at the courtyard. When Yang Kuei saw this group of people, he originally wanted to stop them, but when he saw Yang Tianhen nod his head, he let them go. After Yang Tianhen arrived, he did not call Qin Yun and company because he knew that the floating cloud pagoda's defense is very strong. Qin Yun, Xiao Yuelon, hurry up and come out. Su Tiangao shouted. The competition is about to begin. How long do you want to hide for? Qin Yun also heard from inside. During this period of time, he has been cultivating with Xiao Yuelon and Xiao Xianqin, absorbing the power of the sacred infant fruit. Although his breakthrough is very fast, he is currently only at the 8th level of the Xian immortal realm. Isn't there still 2 or 3 days? Qin Yun's voice came from the floating cloud pagoda. That's only a rough estimate. Now that the Lord Emissary has arrived, it's about to begin. Su Tiangao shouted. Chapter 1439. Collecting Divine Arrows. Chapter 1439. Collecting Divine Arrows. Su Hong wished for the 2 envoys to kill Qin Yun and destroy the floating cloud pagoda. The bald envoy shouted, time is almost up. Hurry up and come out. Don't force us to use force. You also said that time is almost up. That means it's not time yet. Qin Yun said, There are still 2 or 3 days until the final time, right? Since it's not time yet, why are you in such a hurry? Qin Yun, shut up. Don't be rude to the Lord Envoy. Su Hong shouted loudly. Am I being rude? Qin Yun said with sneer from inside the floating cloud pagoda. I won't go out until time is up. Su Hong looked at the two bald envoys and said in a low voice, Lord Envoy, let's do it. Destroy this stone building, capture that guy, and make him hand over the sun-suppressing divine arrow. It would be best to disqualify them. Yang Tenin immediately walked over and said coldly, Envoy, since it's not time yet, why are you in such a hurry? We are the envoys. We're going to gather the participants and inform them of the rules. Since we came early, we will bring forward the time. The bald envoy said angrily, since they are not coming out, don't blame me for being impolite. Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon suddenly felt that it is very strange. Where do these envoys come from? They don't seem to be weak. Logically speaking, they shouldn't be afraid of the Xieyang race. After all, these two envoys are stronger than the patriarch of the Xieyang race. They should be the main force against the Xieyang race. In the 20th floor of the floating cloud pagoda, Qin Yun, Xiao Yuelon, and Xiao Xianqin are cultivating together, absorbing the energy released by the sacred infant fruit. Fortunately, the divine liquid given by the star god allowed them to cultivate to the 8th level of the Xian immortal realm. Now, they're only a step away from the 9th level of the Xian immortal realm. There is still a large vat of divine liquid. It is enough for them. Just as Qin Yun expected, even if they cultivate to the 8th level of the Xian immortal realm, only the little heavenly lion revolving around the nether sun has changed. Many nether sun totems appeared on the heavenly lion's body. As for the small flame hammer and the dragon, there is still no movement. Qin Yun guessed that only the earth immortal realm can begin cultivating the small flame hammer. If everything went smoothly, he would be able to enter the heart of the sun to train. He wanted to see if the little blazing hammer, the 9-sun divine hammer, and the heart of the sun were related. Boom! The floating cloud pagoda suddenly shook. It was hit by a very powerful force. Xiao Yun, Xiao Xianqin said worriedly, those two envoys seem to be very strong. Don't be afraid of them. At best, they're just very strong earth immortals. Qin Yun wasn't worried at all. He said, let's continue cultivating and break through to the 9th level of the mysterious immortal realm as soon as possible. Xiao Xianqin nodded. Xiao Yuelon snorted and said, where did those two envoys come from? Very powerful. Qin Yun curled his lips and said, there's clearly 2 or 3 days left, but he actually came early. Could it be that he plans on putting on an act in front of us? Those two idiots. Rumble. The floating cloud pagoda shook again. The two bald emissaries attacked again with a very violent power, but the floating cloud pagoda only shook slightly. Seeing how terrifying the floating cloud pagoda was, Su Tiangao and the experts of the evil Yang race all looked at each other. They knew that this pagoda was very sturdy, but they didn't expect that even the powerful emissary couldn't break through it. Do you need our help? Su Tiangao asked. Yes, get them out. A bald emissary nodded and said, when they come out, we must teach them a lesson. They actually dare to ignore us emissaries and be so disrespectful to us. Su Hong said, that guy's always been like this. I really don't know why the sun-suppressing divine arrow chose him. Come, everyone attack together and destroy this broken thing. Su Tiangao shouted loudly and gathered a large group of Su family experts and evil Yang race experts. A bald emissary shouted, get ready, attack. In an instant, rumbling sounds rang out unceasingly. Explosions flashed one after another. The earth trembled unceasingly, and the sky rumbled from all directions. The floating cloud pagoda is a square-shaped stone building. Its surface looks somewhat dilapidated, and it is currently enveloped by all kinds of energy-formed multicolored light, making it impossible to see the pagoda's body. Yang Tianhen and the others from the Yang family are watching from afar. They are also somewhat worried that the floating cloud pagoda will be breached because at that time, Su Tiangao and the others will definitely take the opportunity to injure Xiao Yuelon and Qinyan. There are at least 50 powerful Earth Immortals currently attacking the floating cloud pagoda. All of them are releasing their strongest power, wanting to break through the floating cloud pagoda. In the vicinity, there are many Su family and evil nurturing race people shouting and increasing their aura. After a while, the world finally quieted down. The courtyard is shrouded in a mist of light caused by the explosion of energy. The mist of light gradually dissipated. Everyone is dumbstruck because the attack just now did not have any effect at all. The floating cloud pagoda is still standing there very steadily. Although the surface is full of potholes, it was there before. Their attack just now did not even make the floating cloud pagoda drop a single stone. Su family and evil Yang race people are in an uproar. The Yang family people who are watching from the side also exclaimed in surprise. The floating cloud pagoda's defense is beyond their imagination. Although many of the Yang family's buildings in the vicinity were affected, seeing that the floating cloud pagoda is fine, Yang Tianhen also relaxed and a smile appeared on his face. Yang Yi said with smile, "Please continue attacking." The expressions of the two emissaries are the most unsightly. Just now, when they came, they were full of confidence that they could break through the floating cloud pagoda, but now they have not done it. Sir Emissary, if the time is up, will the sun-suppressing divine arrow have any reaction? Su Tiangao asked. When the time is up, the sun-suppressing divine arrow in their hands will temporarily enter the heart of the sun. The two who pass the heart of the sun test will be able to obtain the sun-suppressing divine arrow. A bald emissary said with a somewhat unsightly expression. In that case, let the heart of the sun take back the sun-suppressing divine arrow. Yang Tianhen said with a smile, "The time is not up yet. Emissaries come here to show off. This is not too good." "What did you say? You said that we're showing off? Do you know what kind of existence we sun emissaries are?" A bald emissary immediately said angrily. "Yang Tianhen, you have insulted our emissaries. Quickly apologize and accept your punishment." Su Tengao hurriedly shouted. "Sir Emissary, quickly take that guy down. I don't care what kind of existence you are. After all, the sun-suppressing divine arrow has not moved. Yet you came here to attack someone else's building and steal the sun-suppressing divine arrow. Aren't you trying to show off?" Yang Tianhen sneered. He is not afraid of any emissary. "Shut up," the bald emissary said angrily. "Why should I shut up?" Yang Tianhen said with a sneer. "What kind of sun emissaries are you? Why don't you appear normally? Especially when dealing with the Xieyang race. I can't even see your figures. Now that you have appeared in my territory and started a fight, it is already good that I did not pursue this matter." Yang Kuei shouted, "Xieyang race bastards, quickly scram out of my Yang family's territory, otherwise our Yang family will start slaughtering these bastards. What do you know? We made that guy hand over the sun-suppressing divine arrow in advance, because we don't want them to be killed by the sun-suppressing divine arrow." The bald emissary said angrily. "As for your war, it has nothing to do with us. We are only responsible for operating the heart of the sun." Su Tiangao also shouted loudly. "Yang Tian'en, you are too arrogant. Hurry up and let Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon come out and hand over the sun-suppressing divine arrow." Su Hong said with a sneer, "They have offended the Lord Emissary. They definitely won't dare to come out. They are afraid that they will be punished by the Lord Emissary." At this moment, Xie Yuan Feng of the Xieyang race also stood at the entrance of the floating cloud pagoda and shouted, "Xiao Yuelon, Qin Yun, hurry up and come out. You killed my ox dragon people and 10 outstanding subordinates. I will definitely kill you." Suddenly, the door of the floating cloud pagoda opened. 2 beams of light shot out. They are 2 sun-suppressing divine arrow. The sun-suppressing divine arrow flew out and pierced through Xie Yuanfeng's head and body. Xie Yuanfeng's head was smashed into pieces, and a large hole appeared in his body. Young Master Feng, Su Tiangao is extremely shocked and shouted loudly. Xie Yuanfeng was actually killed by the sun-suppressing divine arrow that flew out, causing a burst of exclamations. The Xieyang race people are incomparably furious. They all attacked the floating cloud pagoda one after another. At this moment, a large group of experts from the Yang family also rushed over. When they saw that idiot Xie Yuanfeng was killed, they all laughed heartily. The sun-suppressing divine arrow has already been sent out. We still want to stay in the pagoda for a while more. When the time is up, we will naturally participate in the assessment. Qin Yun's voice came out from the pagoda. The pair of sun-suppressing divine arrows stabbed into the ground, right in front of the two emissaries. The patriarch of the Xieyang race is also here. When he saw that his youngest son was killed, he was also very angry, but he didn't dare to act recklessly, because it was his youngest son who courted death. He ran to the other party's door and didn't expect that after the other party returned the sun-suppressing divine arrow, his youngest son's body would be pierced through. Of the two sun-suppressing divine arrows, one emitted a fiery red light, and the other emitted a deep red light. They were inserted into the ground and released a very strong power. Su Tiangao and the patriarch of the Xieyang race are incomparably envious. They really want to obtain it, but they don't have the chance because the sun-suppressing divine arrow will choose its own master. The bald emissary shouted, "The person who has the sun-suppressing divine arrow, quickly come out and receive your punishment. You did not follow the rules and even disrespected us emissaries. How do you want to punish me?" Qin Yun suddenly appeared at the door. His expression is ice cold. "Come out and admit your wrongs." The bald emissary thought about how he crazily attacked the floating cloud pagoda and failed. He felt very angry and ashamed, so he wants to punish Qin Yun. "And if I don't admit my wrongs?" Qin Yun said with sneer. "If you don't admit your wrongs, once you leave the pagoda, I will beat you up." The bald emissary shouted angrily. "Quickly come out and receive your punishment." Qin Yun suddenly walked out. This immediately caused Yang Tianhen to turn pale with fright. He thought that Qin Yun wouldn't come out. "I won't apologize. I'll just stand here. Come and hit me." Qin Yun looked at the bald emissary. His voice is filled with power and said coldly, "Arrogant bastard, you deserve a lesson. Let's go." One of the bald emissaries shouted angrily. "Ho!" The two bald emissaries immediately rushed toward Qin Yun. Moreover, each of their arms are filled with a very strong power. These are two very strong earth immortals. If they attack Qin Yun together, even if they don't kill him, they will definitely be able to heavily injure him. Chapter 1440. Yang Wuxin Su Tiangao, Xieyang, and the others were secretly happy when they saw the two messengers attacking angrily. Qin Yun stood there, not planning on taking action. The sun-suppressing divine arrow that was stuck in the ground trembled for a moment, then suddenly flew up and pierced towards the two bald emissaries. Boom! The speed of the sun-suppressing arrow was as fast as lightning, and in the blink of an eye, it pierced through the heads of the two bald envoys. Furthermore, it produced a very violent explosive force, causing the heads of the two envoys to explode. So. The sun-suppressing divine arrow flew back and forth, passing through the bodies of the two bald emissaries, leaving behind several holes. Everyone's eyes widened as they stared dumbfoundedly at the two sturdy bodies falling to the ground. Qin Yun stood there with his hands behind his back and said indifferently, "I didn't do anything. The sun-suppressing divine arrow acted on its own. Who else wants to act against me? Quickly make your move." Those two powerful and mysterious sun envoys were killed by the sun-suppressing divine arrow, let alone them. Yang Tianhen was also very shocked. He never thought that the sun-suppressing divine arrow could actually kill the sun emissary. That's the sun-suppressing divine arrow protecting its master. Before the time is up, the sun-suppressing divine arrow cannot leave its master. Yang Tianhen said, "There's something wrong with those two envoys. They came in advance. They should be trying to snatch the sun-suppressing arrow. Qin Yun looked at Su Tiangao and said, "Who else wants to kill me? Hurry up and do it." Xieyang clan leader gritted his teeth. They all wanted to rush over and kill Qin Yun, but they didn't dare to. They had seen the power of the sun-suppressing divine arrow when it was protecting its master, and this made them want it even more. Qin Yun entered the floating cloud pagoda, and the sun-suppressing divine arrow followed him. He returned to the 20th floor and continued cultivating with Xiao Yuelon and Xiao Xianqin. Su Tian took a deep breath and said with a smile, "Did you guys see that? Qin Yun still has the aura of a Xian immortal, and it's still relatively weak. I guess he's only at the 4th level of Xian immortal. There's still 3 more days. He's only at the 4th level of the mysterious immortal realm, so they'll definitely be unable to pass the test." Su Hong sneered. "The sun-suppressing arrow won't be theirs very soon." Yang Tianhin said coldly, "Attack." Many people from the Yang family suddenly attacked and charged towards the Xieyang race. "What are you doing?" Su Tiangao angrily asked. "Of course I'm going to kill those bastards from the Xieyang race." Yang Tianhin said with a cold smile, "Even if we risk our lives, we will fight them until both sides suffer. Su family, if you have the guts, then make your move." Su Tiangao didn't dare. If they really fought and a great battle broke out, the Earth Immortals of Xieyang race and Su family would be seriously injured. In the assessment 3 days later, they might not be able to win against Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon. Yang Tianhin feels that Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon will not be able to pass the final test, so he used such an extreme method. He wants to perish together with the Su family and the Xieyang race. Kill. Yang Tianhin's killing intent was torrential. The Yang family crazily attacked the Xieyang race. Retreat. Su Tian shouted, then immediately rushed in the direction of their Su family. The people of the evil Yang race also ran because they could feel the determination of the Yang family people. The Yang family chased after them and killed dozens of Xieyang race members along the way. Only when the other party ran to the Su family to hide did they stop killing. They chopped off the heads of the Xieyang race members and placed them on the side of their path, letting the Xieyang race and Su family people see. The Xieyang patriarch is also furious to the extreme. Just now, they were truly afraid that Yang Tianhin would risk his life. After all, he is a peak Earth immortal. If he doesn't care about his life, he is extremely terrifying. It is enough to cause heavy losses to the Su family and the Xieyang race. After killing dozens of Xieyang race members, the Yang family people laugh heartily. Yang family, just you wait. Once we get the sun-suppressing divine arrow, they will be nothing. The Xieyang patriarch said while gnashing his teeth. One of his sons was killed and dozens of his clansmen were killed. He felt extremely sullen and vexed. Su Tiangao said, "Once we get the sun-suppressing divine arrow, we will fight them to our heart's content. Now that 2 envoys have died, there should be more envoys coming down." Just as he finished speaking, a beam of light shot down from the sun core in the sky. Another sun emissary came down. Su Tiangao said, "CF family patriarch, don't go over this time. Stay in our Su family's territory, in case Yang Tianhin goes crazy." If Su Tiangao went to the Yang family's territory, he was not afraid. Yang Tianhin was only attacking the Xieyang race members and did not attack the Su family members. Su Tiangao brought Su Hong, a few elders, and a large group of Su family's middle and upper echelons to the place where the sun emissary descended. After they went over, they saw a middle-aged man dressed in white. The middle-aged man's expression was somewhat solemn as he asked. The 2 envoys that came down earlier were mainly to let them familiarize themselves with the rules of the competition. At that time, the Sun Core will be in charge of the things needed for the examination. The white-clothed middle-aged man paused for a moment. His expression turned cold as he said, "After they came down, they were killed. They're indeed dead, killed by the person with the sun-suppressing divine arrow." Su Tiangao hurriedly said, "We saw it with our own eyes. They were killed by 2 sun-suppressing divine arrows. They persuaded the person with the sun-suppressing divine arrow to come out and meet them but they did not expect that the person with the sun-suppressing divine arrow would be so barbaric and savage that he directly killed them. The white-clothed middle-aged man said angrily, "There's such a thing? Quickly take me to those two people." "Senior, are you also an envoy?" Su Hong asked. "It's useless even if you go. Those two fellows are extremely arrogant, and they are hiding in a stone building with strong defenses. There's no way to enter." "I'm a great envoy," the white-clothed middle-aged man said coldly. "Quickly take me there." The vicinity of the courtyard where the floating cloud pagoda was located had long been destroyed by the battle just now. It was now a flat land. After the white-clothed middle-aged man arrived, Yang Tianhen and the others who were nearby hurriedly surrounded him. "I heard that the person with the sun-suppressing divine arrow is extremely arrogant and even killed two envoys. Is that right?" After the white-clothed middle-aged man saw Yang Tianhen, he said, "I am Yang Wuxin, the Sun Emissary of the Heart Yang realm. I am in charge of some matters within the Sun Core." Yang Tianhen said, "Of course not. It's your envoys who are too arrogant and even want to seize the sun-suppressing divine arrow." Soon after, Yang Tianhen and Yang Kuei told Yang Wuxin about the atrocities of the two bald envoys. After Yang Wuxin finished listening, he looked at Su Tiangao and the others. "Sir Envoy, don't believe their nonsense. The Yang family and those two fellows are on the same side." Su Tiangao hurriedly said, "The two envoys' attitude was very good, and they didn't say anything about punishment. It was all deliberately said by the Yang family." "That's right. The Yang family is very cunning. They want to protect those two fellows." Su Hong also said, "The people of the Su family were all accusing the Yang family of lying." Yang Tianhen is very angry and said coldly, "Envoy Yang, everything we said is true. On the other hand, they want to borrow your hand to deal with our Yang family. Don't be deceived by them." Yang Wuxin felt a headache coming on and shouted, "Stop talking. Let the person with the sun-suppressing divine arrow come out, and we will confront him face to face. Now we can be sure that the two sun envoys were killed by the sun-suppressing divine arrow. Is that right?" It was the sun-suppressing divine arrow that protected its master and killed those two fellows. Yang Tianhen added, "That's not it. It was Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon who controlled the sun-suppressing divine arrow to kill them." Su Tiangao shouted. He was determined to frame Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon. Qin Yun, who is cultivating above, is also speechless. He can only take the two sun-suppressing divine arrows and walk down. What surprised Su Tiangao and the others is that Qin Yun actually took the initiative to run out this time. After Qin Yun came out, he stabbed the sun-suppressing divine arrow into the ground and said, "This is how I stabbed the sun-suppressing divine arrow into the ground." Those two envoys were killed by the sun-suppressing divine arrow. Do you admit it or not? Yang Wuxin said coldly, "I admit that they were killed by the sun-suppressing divine arrow, but I did not control it." Qin Yun said, "No matter what, the reason they died is because of your sun-suppressing divine arrow." Yang Wuxin said, "Regarding this matter, I will communicate with the divine arrow spirit and have it revoke your examination qualifications. Go ahead." Qin Yun waved his hand. Yang Wuxin walked over and grabbed the two sun-suppressing divine arrows. However, he felt the sun-suppressing divine arrows tremble violently and burst out with a very strong power. "Ah!" Yang Wuxin let out a blood-curdling scream and was sent flying. "Qin Yun, what did you do? How dare you attack the Lord Emissary again?" Su Tiangao said angrily and rushed over. Su Hong also hastily rushed towards Qin Yun. He wants to attack Qin Yun. Yang Wuxin looked at Qin Yun in horror and shouted, "Stop!" When Yang Wuxin shouted, he immediately leaped out and struck Su Tiangao and Su Hong's faces with both palms, sending them flying. Su Tiangao and Su Hong's faces were cracked and bleeding. They were shocked and puzzled, not knowing why Yang Wuxin hit them. "Sir Emissary, why did you hit us?" Su Tiangao asked. "How dare you lie to me?" Yang Wuxin said angrily. The spirit of the divine arrow told me everything just now. I can communicate with the spirit of the divine arrow. Qin Yun snorted and said, "What a waste of my time. I'm cultivating." Yang Wuxin immediately said respectfully, "Friend, just now the spirit of the divine arrow said that it will give you 5 more days." Qin Yun is somewhat astonished. Yang Wuxin just grabbed the sun-suppressing divine arrow, but he actually managed to communicate so much. All right, Qin Yun nodded. 5 days is enough for him and Xiao Yuelon to step into the 9th level of the Xian Immortal Realm. After all, they are still at the Earth Immortal Realm. Friend, please forgive me for offending you just now. It was all those 2 guys who lied to me, Yang Wuxin said with a smile. In these 5 days, I will wait here for you to come out and then explain the assessment process in detail to you. All right, many thanks. After Qin Yun finished speaking, he waved his hand and the 2 sun-suppressing divine arrows flew back. Although one of the sun-suppressing divine arrows belongs to Xiao Yuelon, Qin Yun can easily control it. Chapter 1441. 1441, Chapter 1441, the test of heart. Yang Wuxin was startled by the divine arrow's spirit just now. Because the divine arrow's spirit wanted to protect Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon, it released a very strong power to send Yang Wuxin flying. Furthermore, it told Yang Wuxin to distinguish right from wrong. Yang Wuxin immediately understood that the Qin Yun in front of him was very special. He had obtained the protection of the divine arrow's spirit. Therefore, he guessed that Su Tiangao and the others were obstructing him and wanted to kill him with a borrowed knife. This made him very angry in his heart. Yang Wuxin's face darkened. He looked at Su Tiangao and Su Hong and shouted, "You 2 bastards, do you want to borrow my hands to get rid of your enemies? Envoy Yang, you don't know. The Su family is in cahoots with the Xie Yang race. There are many Xie Yang race members in our barrier. Little brother Qin killed that fellow from the Xie Yang race. So the Su family naturally has to take revenge for the Xie Yang race." Yang Tianhen said, "I don't care about the matters between your 2 tribes. Even if you're colluding with the evil Yang race, if anything happens to the sun's heart, the ones who will die will be your 2 tribes." Yang Wuxin said coldly, "Don't think that you can leave just because there's a problem with the sun's core. You will die miserably." Su Tiangao had just been slapped and watched by so many people, so he was very angry. However, facing Yang Wuxin, he didn't dare to flare up. He still smiled politely and said, "Lord Envoy, we are only negotiating with the Xie Yang race. This is also a delaying tactic. Besides, this is very beneficial to our tribe. Then you let the Xie Yang race participate in the test. Is this also a delaying tactic?" Yang Tianhen laughed coldly. "Oh, you even let the evil Yang race participate in the sun-suppressing divine arrow test?" Yang Wuxin was a little surprised and frowned slightly. "Well, we believe that with Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon's strength, they will definitely be able to obtain the sun-suppressing divine arrow in the end. That's why we agreed to the Xie Yang race. It doesn't matter if they participate since they won't be able to get it anyway. Instead, they have to agree to our conditions." Su Tiangao laughed. Yang Tianhen cursed in a low voice. "Su Tiangao, you shameless fellow." Su Tiangao ignored Yang Tianhen and came before Yang Wuxin, asking, "Lord Envoy, the Xie Yang race should be able to participate in the test, right?" "I don't know. It depends on the sun's core. If the sun's core is willing to test them, then they can participate." After Yang Wuxin finished speaking, he looked at the floating cloud pagoda behind him and said, "Also, they have to obtain the recognition of the divine arrow spirit. This is the most difficult thing. If the people of the Xie Yang race are tortured to death by the heart of the sun during the test, they deserve it. Don't worry, I've told the Xie Yang race about the worst-case scenarios, and they said they weren't afraid." Su Tiangao laughed. "All of you can go back. I'll wait here." Yang Wuxin waved his hand and let the Su family leave. Be it the Su family or the Yang family, they all felt it was very strange. Why would Yang Wuxin be so respectful to Qin Yun? They all secretly guessed that it was the sun's heart or the divine arrow spirit's will. I wonder how Sister Rujing and the others are doing. When Xiao Yuelon saw Qin Yun return with the sun-suppressing divine arrow, she said with a sigh, "The mission of protecting the heart of the sun is really difficult. Exterminate the Xie Yang race in the vicinity of the Heart Yang realm and complete the mission." Qin Yun returned the sun-suppressing divine arrow to Xiao Yuelon and said with a smile, "This is, after all, a very strong divine tool. Furthermore, after passing the test, one can quickly increase their cultivation. If it's difficult, then so be it." Xiao Xianqin said, "Xiao Yun, do you think Sister Rujing and Palace Master Yu will also have the opportunity to increase their cultivation? If so, then they must have immortal emperor-level experts on their side. If Sister Rujing becomes an immortal emperor, our Guanghan Palace's strength will definitely increase by a lot." The Heart of Nine Suns is distributed in 3 Heart Yang realms. The strongest here can only be an Earth immortal, and Yu is an immortal emperor. Then what about the Netherworld Great Emperor? Qin Yun is most worried about the Netherworld Great Emperor. The Netherworld Great Emperor is his foster father, and he has just recovered his strength. Furthermore, he is going to the strongest Heart Yang realm alone. The enemies he will face will definitely be very strong. Xiao Yuelon said, "The reason why the Heart of Nine Suns is open is because they are afraid of being wiped out. Could it really be that someone else will obtain it?" Qin Yun said, "Over the years, the Heart of Nine Suns must have been snatched many times. That's why there is such a protection mechanism." The 3 of them continue to cultivate together. Now that the time has been increased to 5 days, it made them feel a lot more relaxed. At that time, they can only become 9th layer Shin Immortals. Even if they face those 1st layer Earth Immortals, the pressure won't be too great. 5 days passed. Qin Yun, Xiao Yuelon, and Xiao Xianqin came out of the floating cloud pagoda. After coming out, Qin Yun stored the floating cloud pagoda. "There's only Yang Wuxin outside. You two have finally come out. How is your current cultivation?" When Yang Wuxin saw Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon, he immediately walked over and asked with a smile. "Not bad," Qin Yun said with a smile. "Emissary Yang, you can now tell us about the contents of the assessment." Yang Wuxin let Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon sit down at the stone table in the pavilion. He stood at the side and said, "This assessment is mainly conducted in the middle of the tribe. The people participating in the assessment are gathered at the center of the large road. After arriving there, the 2 of you first release the sun-suppressing divine arrow, and let the sun's heart take back the sun-suppressing divine arrow." Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon nodded. The sun's heart took back the sun-suppressing divine arrow. They have no objections. Yang Wuxin said again, "After the sun's heart takes back the sun-suppressing divine arrow, it will send down all kinds of power or tools to conduct the assessment. According to the records, the content of the assessment is quite a lot. It will choose a few methods to conduct the assessment. In short, during the assessment, there will be danger to your life." Emissary Yang, in the end, only 2 people passed the assessment? Xiao Yuelon asked. "Yes, only 2 people can pass," Yang Wuxin said with a smile. "The 2 of you are valued so highly by the divine arrow's spirit. Did you receive any help from the divine arrow's spirit?" Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon shook their heads. They tried to communicate with the divine arrow's spirit, but were unable to succeed. "All right, then you have to pay attention because the sun's heart is in charge of the assessment. It will be very cruel," Yang Wuxin said sternly. Back then, some people in this tribe were punished by the sun's heart because they violated the clan rules. Many of them died. Why didn't the sun's heart punish the Su family and the Xieyang race? Xiao Xianqin lightly snorted and said, "The Xieyang race has been here for so long. I don't know about that." Yang Wuxin shook his head. "I'm only responsible for conveying the sun's heart's meaning. I don't know what the sun's heart is thinking either." Qin Yun said, Let's go to the center of the tribe." Yang Wuxin nodded and said, "It's about time. Let's go quickly." The people from the Su family and the Yang family are now on both sides of the main road. There's also a bald emissary here who is narrating the assessment to the 200 people. Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelan are wearing the same black skin-tight clothes. After they arrived, it immediately caused many people to discuss. We gave them 5 more days, what can they do? They were only at the first level of Xian Immortal before. Even if they were given 1,000 divine fruits, it would be pretty good if they could reach the 7th level of Xian Immortal in 3 months. The aura on their bodies is still a very weak Xian Immortal aura. Compared to the Earth Immortals of our Su family and the Xieyang race, they are too lacking. They are so arrogant because they have the protection of the sun-suppressing divine arrow and the Yang family. Without the sun-suppressing divine arrow, they are nothing. I wonder if there will be a martial arts competition in this assessment. If there is, they will definitely die. Just wait and see. They are only responsible for delivering the sun-suppressing divine arrow from the immortal desolate to the heart Yang realm. They are not the true owners of the sun-suppressing divine arrow. Giving them the chance to participate in the assessment is just to comfort them. When the people from the Su family saw that Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelan still have the aura of Xian immortal power, they concluded that they would not be able to pass the assessment. Yang Wuxin said in a low voice, "You too, release the sun-suppressing divine arrow." Xiao Yuelan and Qin Yun released the sun-suppressing divine arrow. Seeing the 2 divine arrows, everyone exclaimed in surprise. After all, it is a very powerful divine tool that can easily kill 2 bald emissaries. After the sun-suppressing divine arrow was released, the 2 suns in the sky shot down 2 beams of light. The 2 sun-suppressing divine arrows followed the 2 beams of light and flew towards the 2 huge round crystals in the sky. They entered and disappeared. Seeing the sun-suppressing divine arrow being taken back, the people from the Su family and the Xieyang race cheered again and again. Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelan, on the other hand, do not care. They held hands and walked towards the large circle in the middle. There are 100 people from the Xieyang race and the Su family here. Everyone is filled with anticipation, believing that they will be able to obtain the sun-suppressing divine arrow. As long as they could obtain the sun-suppressing divine arrow, they would be able to enter the heart of the sun to cultivate and become a 9th stage Earth Immortal. At that time, they would be the most powerful existence in the Heart Yang realm. The assessment has begun. Everyone, move away from them as soon as possible to avoid being affected. Yang Wuxin suddenly shouted. Many people in the vicinity hastily retreated. Xiao Xianqin is very worried. She is afraid that something will happen to Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelan. The entire earth suddenly began to tremble slightly, and the core of the sun in the sky began to slowly rotate. At first, the huge round crystal was only rotating slowly, but the speed of its rotation became faster and faster. Hua! A spiral golden beam of light suddenly shot down and enveloped the 200 people on the ground. The people participating in the assessment immediately felt a terrifying energy fiercely pressing down. A large portion of the people participating in the assessment suddenly screamed miserably, looking like they are in great pain. Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelan held hands, their fingers tightly intertwined. Their brows are tightly knitted. They can feel that the other party is enduring great pain. This is a test to temper one's willpower, Qin Yun said to Xiao Yuelan in a low voice. While enduring incomparable pain, you must maintain your original heart. I know. I've experienced it, Xiao Yuelan said softly. I've also experienced it. Qin Yun experienced it when he cultivated his immortal devil body. And at this moment, other than the 2 of them, everyone else is rolling on the ground in pain and screaming like mad demons. Especially the Xieyang race's black-robed people. Their bodies began to swell and violent energy surged out. Chapter 1442. Demons from hell. Most of the people taking the test were tormented to the point where they wished they were dead. They screamed, and some even bit off their own tongues or bit others in pain. It was as if they had gone mad and lost all reason. There were also some people who were lying on the ground, their bodies trembling. They kept biting their own bodies in a frenzy, mutilating themselves in a frenzy. However, not long after, the assessment area was like a demon from hell being punished. Those watching from afar felt their scalps go numb. And what made them feel strange is that Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon were able to endure that kind of terrifying pain. A person who was in so much pain that his entire body was bleeding, he had been tormented to the point of having a hideous expression, suddenly charged at Qin Yun. Qin Yun promptly kicked that person and sent him flying into the group of people. Damn it! Qin Yun is also enduring the pain. Although he is not as miserable as those people, he still feels very uncomfortable enduring the pain. Xiao Yuelon is the same. She closed her eyes and took deep breaths to relax herself. She wanted to adapt to the pain as soon as possible. Xiao Yun, don't you have a senseless elixir? Take it out and try. Ling Yun suddenly said. Qin Yun secretly took out the senseless immortal pill and ate it. It was useless. From the looks of it, what was being tortured was their souls and not their bodies. Yang Tianen's face paled as he watched from afar. The people from the Su family and the Xieyang race were like crazy monsters. Their bodies had already turned black, and their flesh was filled with a demonic aura. Their bodies were slowly swelling. The scariest thing was that those people's shouts gradually became hoarse and low, sounding like ghost beasts. Envoy Yang, is this the test? What the hell is going on? Su Tiangao was very anxious as he hurriedly walked over and asked. The main purpose of this test is to constantly destroy the soul and make the soul feel incomparable pain. Yang Wuxin's face was also filled with fear as he looked at the group of people who were gradually turning into devils. Then why are Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon fine? Xieyang Patriarch shouted, did they cheat? How is this cheating? Can't you see that they are also suffering? That's because they can hold on. Yang Wuxin snorted coldly. Their souls must have gone through this kind of cultivation before. That's why they didn't collapse under such pain. Yang Tianhen said, when a person's soul is tormented by endless pain, they will hate everything and wish for nothing more than to destroy everything. Then, they will become a walking corpse that only knows how to kill and destroy. Yang Wuxi nodded and said, this is the assessment of the heart of the sun. This is to sharpen one's state of mind. It is not without reason that Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon were chosen by the sun-suppressing divine arrow. Su Tiangao anxiously asked, don't tell me that this test doesn't require a high cultivation? Is it just a test of the soul? Yang Wuxin shook his head and said, I'm not sure. In short, this was the test of the heart of the sun. If you are not satisfied, then think of a way to reason with the heart of the sun. The Xieyang race's people became the fastest, as they mainly cultivated demonic power and had committed many evil deeds. Once they collapsed, the demonic power in their bodies would devour their souls and control their bodies. The assessment of the heart of the sun not only caused people to suffer endless pain, it also stimulated the darkest evil in people's hearts, causing them to completely turn into demons. If you can't even pass this test, you really don't have the qualifications to obtain the recognition of the sun-suppressing divine arrow. Yang Tianhen smiled. Although little brother Qin and Miss Yuelon are in great pain, they will definitely be able to persevere. When Xiao Xinqin saw that Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon could still stand, she suddenly felt a lot more at ease. However, when she saw that everyone else in the area enveloped by the golden light are like demons, she couldn't help but worry. Yuelon, endure a little longer. We can persevere. Qin Yun tightly held Xiao Yuelon's lily-white hand. They endured the pain, and their palms were already sweating. Xiao Yuelon nodded her head lightly and opened her eyes to look at Qin Yun. Although the two of them were enduring incomparable pain, because they could be together, they felt that they were not afraid of anything. Especially when he saw the other party's encouraging and strong eyes. The pain seemed to have lessened by a lot. They had to protect each other. Only by obtaining great power could they not let the people they protected be harmed? When they looked at each other with deep affection, they couldn't help but think of their childhood and their many years of hard work. "We can persevere," Xiao Yuelon said softly, and then kissed Qin Yun's lips. Seeing this scene, the Su family and Xieyang race people gnashed their teeth in hatred. Because their people are in so much pain that they want to die, they're about to turn into demons. Yet Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon are still talking about love and being so lovey-dovey with each other. This is simply driving them crazy with anger. Yang Tianhen chuckled and said, "This young couple's feelings are truly deep. Feelings are their weapon to win. Su family, Xieyang race, your warriors have been trained to be killing tools. They have no emotions. Don't look at how they are usually rude and savage, because their souls don't have the support of sincere emotions. They are extremely weak." Yang Kuei nodded and said, "So when they are enduring the pain, their souls are immediately destroyed." Su Tiangao scolded, "Don't say any more. It's not over yet. Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon are only holding on. It won't be long before they collapse." Yang Wuxin shook his head and smiled. "You're wrong. They can persevere." In this kind of assessment, it is like a surging sea of bitterness. The soul is suffering. If the soul doesn't have the support of emotions, it is impossible to face the waves of pain. Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon are currently in a large boat. Although the sea of bitterness is surging, the large boat is very stable and can persevere until the wind calms down. Xiao Xianqin frowned and said softly, "What if others attack Xiao Yun and Yuelon?" The Xieyang patriarch said with a sneer, "What can they do? Of course they will be killed. If our Xieyang race's warriors truly become demons, they will definitely be even stronger." Another Xieyang race old man laughed sinisterly. "Even if Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon can persevere and successfully endure this kind of pain, they will still be unable to fight against those evil spirits. They will definitely be killed. Strength is king. Those bullshit emotions are useless in front of formidable power. All emotions are fart." Su Tiangao laughed and said, "Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon might be killed soon." When Xiao Xianqin heard this, she immediately became anxious and rushed over. No one expected her to suddenly go over. After Xiao Xianqin rushed over, she was unable to enter the area where the golden light was. She was blocked by a very strong power. The translucent golden light that descended from the sun's core enveloped an area of several thousand meters. The group of people inside rolled around, howled and bit. It was like hell on earth, causing one's scalp to go numb. Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon stood at the side to avoid being attacked by the demonized people. They only hoped that the assessment would end quickly. "Yuelon, Xiao Yun, you must hold on," Xiao Xianqin shouted from the side. At this time, Yang Tianhen, Yang Wuxin, and Yang Kuei also went over and arrived at the side of the area. If the sun's core assessment ended, those demonized people would definitely rush out in a frenzy. Yang Tianhen and the others watched from the side so that they could take action in time when the assessment ended. The experts of the Su family and the Xieyang race also rushed to the side. They felt that although those Earth immortals had been demonized, they still had very strong power. They could not be killed by the Yang family. "Yang Tianhen, listen to me. If it ends and you dare to kill a single person from my Su family, I will fight you to the death," Su Tian said in a cold voice. "What if they act recklessly?" Yang Tianhen said with sneer, "Look at those guys. Can they still be considered humans? Those people have been tortured to the point that their entire bodies are black and red. Their clothes have long been torn apart. Their skin and muscles have become pitch black and bloody. Their bodies are releasing a very terrifying evil devil power. Even if they aren't humans, they are still pretty good warriors. Can I capture them and turn them into ghost beasts?" Su Tian shouted. "Don't randomly find a reason to kill them. They used a lot of resources to nurture them." What he was worried about came true. Those people who have been tortured to the point of becoming evil devils, the evil devil aura on their bodies suddenly became even stronger. Suddenly, an evil devil stood up. His clothes are tattered, and his body is inflated by the evil devil power. He is more than 2.5 meters tall, like a small giant. The evil devil's entire body is pitch black, and there is a thick black liquid flowing out. His eyes are completely red, and his entire body is covered in black gas. Kill all of you! Kill all of you! The evil devil let out a creepy laugh and then charged at Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon. These damned demons! Xiao Xianqin cursed in a low voice. Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon can only separate and avoid the evil devil that is charging at them. The evil devil's reaction is very fast. Seeing Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon dodge, it immediately leaped towards Qin Yun and punched, releasing a whistling, evil aura. Scram! Qin Yun bellowed and kicked the evil devil, sending it flying. Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon are enduring pain. Furthermore, they have to face the attacks of the evil devils. Just thinking about it, one can tell how cruel this test is. Haha, well done! Su Tian laughed loudly and said, Quickly kill them. They're also suffering and their cultivation is low. Quickly kill them. After Qin Yun sent the evil devil flying, Xiao Yuelon gritted her teeth and raised her hand. The sleeves on her arm suddenly overflowed with energy. Her slender, jade-white fingers slightly trembled and shot out a white energy. Boom! It is the piercing mountain-splitting earth finger. It also carries an overwhelming righteous power as it struck the evil devil's head. The evil devil's head was pierced through in an instant. This immediately caused many people to be extremely shocked. The people in the distance all let out cries of alarm. Isn't her cultivation very low? How can she easily pierce through an earth immortal's head? Someone from the Su family exclaimed. Those two guys' cultivation should not be low. They are very strong. Su Hong cursed in a low voice. These two bastards, what exactly is their cultivation? Chapter 1443. 1443 Chapter 1443 Evil Devil goes berserk. When Qin Yun saw the evil devil rushing toward Xiao Yuelon, he endured the pain and released a large string of tree vines to bind the evil devil's legs. Then he shouted, Yuelon, kill that guy. Xiao Yuelon originally thought that she could just destroy the evil devil's head, but she never expected that the evil devil's body is being driven by evil power and not the soul inside the head. The evil devil no longer has a soul. It is being driven by the evil devil's brutal power. Xiao Yuelon is enduring the pain, causing the power she can release to be limited. When she raised her hand, she felt pain in her arm. However, she had no choice but to raise her hand because the evil devil is constantly struggling and will soon be able to break free from the tree vines released by Qin Yun. After she raised her hand, a light beam shot out from her fingertip. It is like a very long light sword. This is finger slashing mountains and rivers. It can turn finger power into a sharp energy light sword. So. She waved a few times and cut the evil devil's body into 8 pieces. After the evil devil was dismembered, Su Tiangao and the others' expression became even more unsightly. Because Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon's power is not as weak as they imagined. On the contrary, they are very strong. Quickly go kill them. Su Tiangao shouted from outside. Quickly go. Xieyang clan leader also shouted. Even if they can't obtain the sun-suppressing divine arrow, they don't want to see Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon obtain it. They even hope that Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon will be killed. Roar! Suddenly, 2 evil devils, who seem to have already completed their evolution, crazily rushed towards Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon. Retreat! Xiao Yuelon shouted. Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon are enduring the pain, so they don't want to fight at close range. Because while enduring the pain, their movements will become slow. In close-range combat, a little carelessness will result in serious injuries. They all had a tacit understanding in their hearts and quickly retreated, avoiding the 2 demons that were rushing over. That's it. Haha, quickly go, quickly kill them. Xieyang clan leader laughed sinisterly. Su family and Xieyang race people saw their own family members turn into evil devils, their mood is very bad. But now that they saw that those evil devils might kill Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon, they immediately cheered and incessantly encouraged those evil devils to kill Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon. Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon dodged the two incoming evil devils. They thought that they would continue to be chased. Unexpectedly, the two evil devils pounced towards the corpses on the ground. Xiao Yuelon previously used finger, severing mountains and rivers, to cut an evil devil into 8 pieces, but now she has become food for other evil devils. The people on the sidelines felt their scalps go numb. This was because the evil demon was currently tearing at those broken corpses, crazily devouring them. They couldn't be considered humans at all. They had become true man-eating demons. Yang Tianen's body trembled slightly when he saw this. If the disciples of the Yang clan also participated, the consequences would be unimaginable. He could not guarantee that the disciples of his clan would not end up like this. After all, not everyone could endure that kind of pain. Su Tiangao, you guys still want this kind of thing? Yang Tianhen said coldly. Devils? Look at how strong they are. Su Tiangao laughed. They need to eat people to survive. What are you going to feed them? Capture the Xieyang race? Devil Yin if, Yang devils will Yang clan, Yin devils devil, devil, Yin, and Yin devil, King Yang Yin, and Yin Yin devil. You should be more worried about Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon. They might be eaten. Su Hong laughed loudly. Qin Yun looked at Xiao Yuelon and said in a low voice, Yuelon, kill these 2 things. If they eat those things, they will become stronger. All right. Xiao Yuelon immediately sent out a palm strike through the air, releasing a pure white flame. Qin Yun gritted his teeth and sent out a palm strike filled with flame towards one of the evil devils. 2 rumbling sounds rang out as the palm energy blasted out, exploding a kind of platinum flame. Within the white flame, there is a faint golden radiance lingering around it, releasing a righteous aura. The 2 evil devils were pierced through by the 2 palms. After the white flame touched the evil devil power, it burned even more vigorously. This is a flame specially used to purify evil devil power. As long as it touches the extremely evil and ruthless energy, it will burn even more fiercely. In just a short while, the 2 evil spirits were burnt to a crisp. Xiao Xianqin is now a lot more at ease. She is very worried that Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon will not be able to come out. Not far from Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon, there's a large group of evil devils entangling and biting each other. They're in the process of turning into evil devils. Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon looked over and found it inconceivable. The trial power released by the Sun's core actually directly created so many evil devils. Go get rid of those guys, Qin Yun shouted. Take advantage of the fact that we can endure the pain to attack and end them as soon as possible. All right, be careful. Xiao Yuelon was the first to go over. She did not approach. When she got closer, she raised both of her hands and a white dragon appeared. That is the dragon condensed from the flames she released. And at this moment, Qin Yun also used the heavenly Tao's ferocious power within his body to roar out a heavenly lion's roar. The sound wave accompanied the white flames. Like a mighty wave, it rushed towards the group of evil devils that were about to come over. The flame-white dragon, Xiao Yuelon condensed from flames, suddenly roared ferociously and charged down. At the same time, it swung its dragon tail and swept away many of the evil devils that were about to come over. Qin Yun constantly used heavenly lion's roar. The sound wave accompanied the flames and shot out flame sound waves, igniting the pile of evil devils. All of you quickly stop. Su Tiangao knows that the flames have a very strong, purifying power and are specially used to deal with evil devils. If this goes on, those evil devils will definitely be killed. Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon will not stop. They continue to cooperate with each other and release overwhelming righteous power. They condensed white flames to purify and burn those evil devils. Xieyang Patriarch said in a sinister voice, "This is only an assessment, but you are killing people. What is this? Yang Wuxin said. This is also part of the assessment. You didn't see them. Those guys have all turned into evil devils. They want to kill them. They're doing this to protect themselves. But they're killing people. Su Tiangao is very unwilling. They originally thought that their Su family would be able to obtain the sun-suppressing divine arrow, but they never expected that at the beginning of the assessment, their Su family members would all turn into evil devils, and now they're being killed by others. If it doesn't conform to the assessment rules, then the sun's core will also stop them. Yang Wuxin looked at the assessment area and shouted, "Look, even the sun's core did not stop them. It is clear that this is allowed." Yang Tianhin said with a smile, "Did you see that? This assessment is very fair. Little brother Qin and Miss Yuelan's cultivation is not high, but they can endure that kind of pain. Furthermore, when facing the powerful evil devils, they did not retreat. Instead, they bravely fought back. As expected of the people chosen by the sun-suppressing divine arrow." Yang Kuei laughed loudly and said, "Su family, Xie Yang race. You each sent 100 outstanding Earth Immortals in, and look at the result now. It's not that strength is everything. Haha. The owner of the sun-suppressing divine arrow really has a way to deal with the evil devils. In the future, it will definitely be easy to deal with the Xie Yang race. Don't be complacent." Su Tiangao shouted angrily. Even though Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelan are enduring the pain, they can still release that kind of powerful flame. This indeed caused many people to be alarmed. Ho! Suddenly, an evil devil rushed out from the burning white flame. "Be careful!" Xiao Yuelan anxiously shouted and rushed towards Qin Yun. Qin Yun is also extremely astonished. He doesn't know why an evil devil rushed out, and it is very strong. The evil devil's entire body is burning with white flames. After rushing out, it punched towards Qin Yun's body. Crash! A black energy suddenly shot out like a gushing spring towards Qin Yun's body. Qin Yun was sent flying by the energy. What's even more terrifying is that the black energy is continuously pouring into Qin Yun's body. Xiao Yuelan is extremely alarmed and anxious. In her anger, she activated all the power in her body. Her entire body is filled with killing intent as she unleashed Heaven-Killing Palm and attacked the evil devil that suddenly appeared. Boom! The evil devil was blasted down by Xiao Yuelan's palm, and its body turned into a large amount of white flames that splattered everywhere. Xiao Yuelan immediately went over and helped Qin Yun up. Su Tiangao laughed loudly and said, "He's hopeless. He was just injected with an evil thought. He's finished." Qin Yun's eyes turned black and a black aura appeared on his face. His eyes emitted a dense black light. There is no white in his eyes. It is as if he is about to turn into an evil devil. Many evil devils that are burning in the bonfire suddenly rushed over. Xiao Yuelan stood in front of Qin Yun and released a white shield, blocking the waves of black energy that the evil devils are attacking from a distance. Xiao Xinqin is very anxious. She repeatedly attacked the barrier, wanting to go in and help, but she couldn't break it no matter what. Qin Yun is lying on the ground. His body is constantly twitching, as if he is about to turn into an evil devil. Su Tiangao and Patriarch Xie Yang laughed again and again, looking very happy. "Emissary Yang, what's going on?" Yang Tianhin asked anxiously. "I don't know. The sun's core gave a certain amount of power to those evil devils to attack Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelan," Yang Wuxin said in a low voice. "This is only my guess." Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelan did not expect this kind of situation to suddenly occur. Xiao Yuelan is very worried about Qin Yun, but she can't take care of him because she has to defend against those evil devils that are constantly attacking. Those evil devils suddenly seemed to be commanded by someone and did not approach. Instead, they released a kind of black, evil energy from a distance. They also know that if they get too close, they will definitely be killed by Xiao Yuelan. "Xiao Yun, you have to hold on. I will definitely be able to block these guys." Xiao Yuelan gritted her teeth. enduring the pain while resisting the attacks of dozens of evil devils. Moreover, she also had to pay attention to Qin Yun's situation. Qin Yun is lying on the ground, as if he has lost consciousness. His body is slightly twitching, and his eyes are spewing out black energy. There's a sign that he is about to turn into an evil devil. No one knows what happened to Qin Yun. They only know that his current situation is very wrong. Su Tiangao laughed and said, Qin Yun, you are also going to become an evil devil. When the time comes, I will also kill you. They can't wait for Qin Yun to die. Chapter 1444. Evil Yang Invasion. Qin Yun was attacked by the evil devil, and a very strange black power entered his body. In that instant, he indeed suffered a very painful attack. Strangely enough, although the force caused him incomparable pain, his body was unable to cry out. Only his soul is screaming crazily. His soul seems to be separated from his body. He cannot control his body at all. What's wrong with me? What kind of attack is this? Qin Yun suddenly felt that his body is light as a feather. Xiao Yun, your soul is separated from your body. Ling Yun'er's illusory voice came over. She shouted anxiously, quickly control your soul and enter your body. You're gradually moving away from me. There's a power that is depriving your soul. What kind of power is it? Qin Yun asked. I don't know. It might be heavenly Tao power because now is your weakest time. The omnipresent heavenly Tao power wants to take away your soul. Ling Yun'er shouted, quickly recover. How do I recover? Qin Yun feels as if he is lying in water. Water rushed into his ears, and he heard a strange sound of flowing water. I don't know. Yuelon is resisting the attack of those evil devils. If you don't recover, she will be attacked by those evil devils and then eaten. Ling Yun shouted anxiously. Qin Yun suddenly thought that it is most likely because of the sun core. Originally, the evil devils were about to be burned by the flame released by him and Xiao Yuelon. However, the sun core suddenly released a power and let those evil devils come out of the fire. Is it really heavenly Tao power? Qin Yun's heart surged with anger. He suddenly felt that he has been cheated by the heavenly Tao too miserably, not to mention being forgotten by many people at such a critical time. They still want to cheat him. You want to kill Yuelon? Dream on. Suddenly, Qin Yun sensed the heavenly lion, divine hammer, and dragon revolving around the nether sun. My heavenly Tao is the true heavenly Tao. Qin Yun shouted in his heart. He controlled the heavenly lion to release a fierce heavenly Tao power and let out a roar. Qin Yun gradually sensed his body. Everything around him gradually became clear. He can feel Xiao Yuelon's heartbeat and smell the fragrance on Xiao Yuelon's body that makes him feel comfortable. Yuelon. Qin Yun suddenly opened his eyes and lightly shouted. The black gas on his body also disappeared. Xiao Yuelon shouted happily. Are you all right? I'm fine now. Qin Yun opened his eyes and saw several wounds on Xiao Yuelon's body. They were all caused by the black energy. She was already enduring the pain, but she still had to face the fierce attacks of dozens of demons. This was indeed not easy. Qin Yun could sense that Xiao Yuelon was very tired, but she was still desperately protecting him. Xiao Yuelon's exhausted body exuded a determination to protect him even if she had to die. An inexplicable power suddenly surged into every part of Qin Yun's body. It broke through the pain that bound his soul and immediately filled him with energy. He didn't know what kind of power it was. He only knew that the power had a strong will that wanted him to protect the person he loved. That power came very suddenly, but Qin Yun did not find it unfamiliar because he had also felt this power when he was young. This power seemed to be something he was born with, and he only had one mission, which was to protect the people he loved. Qin Yun, who was lying on the ground, suddenly jumped up and rushed out in the blink of an eye. Xiao Yun! Xiao Yuelon shouted in alarm when she saw Qin Yun rush out. At this moment, Qin Yun acted as if nothing had happened. The expression of enduring the pain was gone, as if he was no longer restrained by the pain. No matter what power you have, stay away from me. Qin Yun's voice was ice cold. After rushing over, he slammed his palm on the head of an evil devil. A domineering aura exploded out, accompanied by a dragon's roar. This is the power created by the combination of the heavenly Tao flame's violent power and the heavenly Tao's arrogant power. It condensed the overwhelming righteous flame that purifies the evil devils and carried the tyrannical power of the nine-sun divine hammer as it surged out. Boom! That power poured into the top of the evil devil's head, and after the evil devil's body exploded, a wave of white flames surged out, and all the surrounding evil devils that were rushing over were cut in half at the waist. Roar, roar, roar. Those evil devils were cut into two by the energy wave and fell to the ground, screaming miserably. This scene caused the people outside to be dumbstruck. They could tell that those evil devils had suddenly become very strong, just a bit more, and they would be able to break through Xiao Yuelan's defense. However, Qin Yun, who suddenly jumped up, is even more terrifying. In an instant, he split those evil devils into two. All of you go to hell. Qin Yun waved his hand, and a large amount of white thunder and fire lightning descended from the sky. Boom, 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 boom. Those white thunder and fire lightning bolts were like dragons descending, the dragon heads attacking the evil devils on the ground. A white thunder and fire lightning bolt descended and turned an evil devil into flying ashes. It carried an arrogant and fierce aura. It was soul-stirring and very shocking. It didn't take long for all the demons to be killed. Qin Yun hurriedly arrived beside Xiao Yuelan and held her lily-white hand. He used his strong will to protect Xiao Yuelan's soul, preventing her soul from being destroyed by the energy released by the Sun Core. Oh, they're all dead. Su Tiangao thought that after the end of the assessment, there would be a few useful evil devils left. But now, they were turned into flying ashes by Qin Yun in a few moves. This made them feel incredulous. I'm fine. Xiao Yuelan smiled at Qin Yun and said softly, I was really worried to death just now. I'll be fine. Qin Yun held Xiao Yuelan's lily-white hand tightly and looked at the Sun Core in the sky. His expression became very solemn. Just now, it was the power released by the Sun Core that wanted to destroy him and Xiao Yuelan. This made him suspect that there was something else inside the Sun Core. Is the assessment still not over? Qin Yun looked at Yang Wuxin and asked. Yang Wuxin is also astonished because Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelan no longer seem to feel pain. However, the barrier released by the Sun Core is still there. Qin Yun can't come out and no one else can enter. I don't know. Everything was arranged by the Sun Core. Yang Wuxin said anxiously. There seems to be a problem. Everyone was discussing this because this test was simply too strange. Boom! Qin Yun punched the barrier. He wanted to open it, but he did not succeed. The barrier is very strong. Wait for me to return to the Sun Core and take a look. Yang Wuxin quickly said and took out a token. The token flashed, and Yang Wuxin turned into a ray of light and rushed towards the Sun Core in the sky. Su Tiangao and Patriarch Xieyang are now looking at Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelan with sinister expressions. Because their people have been killed by Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelan. This is a huge loss to them. Not long after, Yang Wuxin came down and said with an ugly expression, You too. There is indeed a problem. A black gas suddenly appeared inside the Sun Core. It is that black gas that is controlling the Sun Core. What exactly is inside the Sun Core? Qin Yun asked hurriedly. Nothing much. There is a space inside, and the sun-suppressing divine arrow is in that space. Right now, it is filled with all kinds of black gas. I guess that the Sun Core might have been infiltrated by the evil Yang power. Yang Wuxin glanced at the Xieyang race people. The Xieyang race people entering the tribe is very likely related to them. Yang Tianhen said coldly. In that case, exterminating the Xieyang race people is enough? I knew that if we let these fellows enter our tribe, something would happen sooner or later. Yang Tianhin, what are you trying to do? I am the patriarch of the heart-protecting divine race. I allowed them to enter. Furthermore, we have already made peace with the Xieyang race. There can be no war. Su Tiangao said coldly. You are not allowed to attack them. Yang Tianhin took out a long saber and said, It's fine to chase them out, right? Xieyang race bastards, if you don't scram out of our tribe, you are dead for sure. I, Yang Tianhin, will do what I say. Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon are very anxious because they are trapped inside. Furthermore, it was done by that evil Yang power. Let's go. Patriarch Xieyang faintly smiled. In short, there's a sun-suppressing divine arrow. It must be ours. These guys, they really have a conspiracy. Yang Tianhin angrily rushed over and wanted to slash down with his saber, but was blocked by Su Tiangao's large sword. Because there are many Yang family members here, and all of them want to kill the Xieyang race. At this moment, the Xieyang race is being escorted by the Su family and hastily leaving. Su Tiangao, you colluded with the Xieyang race to harm the sun's core. You traitors! Yang Tianhin said coldly. The Xieyang race must have come in and done something. That's why the sun's core was infiltrated by the evil Yang power. If we did anything against the clan rules, we would definitely be punished by the sun's core. But now, it is clear that everything we did was reasonable. Su Tiangao chuckled and said, Let's go. The Su family left, but Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon are still trapped inside the golden light barrier. The sun's core continuously shot down golden light, enveloping a large area. As long as the sun's core does not retract its power, they will not be able to come out. Yang Emissary, are you eating shit? Yang Tianhin said angrily. You should have helped us deal with the Xieyang race just now. If you had fought with the Xieyang race until both sides suffered heavy losses or the Su family suffered heavy losses, in the end, the ones who would be injured would be you, and the ones who would benefit would either be the Xieyang race or the Su family. Yang Wuxin said, Right now, the most important thing is to get them out. What about the other sun's core? Is there any problem? Qin Yun asked. The one in charge of testing you is the third sun's core. Now, there's a problem. As for the fourth sun's core, there's no problem. I'll go in and see if I can get the divine arrow to come out and help. Yang Wuxin immediately took out his token and flew towards the fourth sun's core. Not long after he left, the fourth sun's core shot out a beam of light towards the third sun's core. Not long after, the light beam enveloping Qin Yun and company disappeared. Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon can come out. The Yang family immediately cheered. When the Su family saw this, they all felt very unhappy. Xiao Xianqin immediately rushed over and hugged Xiao Yuelon, worried that something might happen to her. Just as Xiao Yuelon came out, a dark red ray of light shot over. It is her sun-suppressing divine arrow. After she reached out and grabbed it, she was brought towards the fourth sun's core by the sun-suppressing divine arrow. Qin Yun's sun-suppressing divine arrow is inside the third sun's core, and it is also the one that has a problem. Chapter 1445. 9. Evil Sun Xiao Yuelon was brought to the heart of the sun by the sun-suppressing divine arrow. Because Qin Yun's sun-suppressing divine arrow was invaded by the evil Yang power, it was unable to come down to receive him. Not long after, Yang Wuxin came down from above. I'll bring you to the heart of the third sun. Let's talk inside. Yang Wuxin said, The sun-suppressing divine arrow inside is not optimistic. We must quickly disperse the evil Yang power, otherwise the consequences will be unimaginable. Yang Tianhin and the others are also very worried. If something happened to the heart of the sun, they would also be responsible and might even be punished. It's all the fault of those bastards, Su Tiangao. Are they not afraid of death? Su Tiangao cursed. If something happens to the heart of the sun, we will be punished. Yang family patriarch, please be a bit stronger. Don't let the Xieyang race people enter the tribe's barrier again. Only by entering here can they come into contact with the heart of the sun. They must have used some secret technique to let the evil Yang power seep into the heart of the sun. Yang Wuxin warned solemnly. Fortunately, it's only the heart of the sun that has a problem. It can still be saved. Yang Tianan nodded and said, "We understand. If the Xie race people come again, we will throw them out no matter what." "All right, I'll bring little brother Qin into the heart of the third sun now," Yang Wuxin said. Inside, only Yang Wuxin could fly. He brought Qin Yun and flew towards the heart of the sun. Although his speed was not fast, he could at least fly up. The reason why the Heart Yang realm forbids flying is because they don't want people to fly into the sky and come into contact with the heart of the sun. Therefore, the Xie race people have been unable to approach the heart of the sun many times. Only this time, when the Xie race people enter the tribe, would they have a chance to get close to the heart of the sun. Although they did not fly up, they must have used some method to let the evil Yang power seep into the heart of the sun. On the Su family side, Su Tiangao is in a secret room and shouted angrily, "That bastard Yang Tianhen, he actually didn't give me any face. I am the patriarch of the heart-protecting divine race." The heart of the sun was infiltrated by the evil Yang power. Was it done by the Xie race? Su Hong asked. If the Xie race obtains a sun core and a sun-suppressing divine arrow, wouldn't our Su family be controlled by them? I don't know. The evil Yang race has always been very cunning. I let them in because I felt that it was impossible for them to cause any trouble. Now, it seems that they have a way to secretly infiltrate the evil Yang energy into the sun's core. As Su Tiangao spoke of this matter, his complexion gradually became gloomy. In the later part of the assessment, a very big problem suddenly appeared. It is very likely that it was caused by the evil Yang energy. Su Hong smiled and said, "Only the sun's heart is in trouble. This doesn't affect our Su family much. On the other hand, Qin Yun can't enter the heart of the sun to cultivate, nor can he obtain the sun-suppressing divine arrow." Su Tiangao laughed. If the evil Yang race really gets their hands on the heart of the sun and the sun-suppressing divine arrow, they will definitely deal with the Yang family. At that time, and the Yang clan will both suffer great losses, and that will be the time when our Su clan dominates the Heart Yang realm. Qin Yun and Yang Wuxin flew towards the sun's heart in the sky. Looking at the gradually approaching sun's heart, he asked, "Young emissary, can you still enter the other sun's heart? The first, second, and fourth sun's heart are all occupied. I can't go in anymore." We emissaries usually only stay on the surface of the sun's heart to check if there are any spatial cracks nearby, because the evil Yang rays can tear through space and bring in the evil Yang energy. Yang Wuxin said, "What's going on with those two bald emissaries from before? They seem to want to take the sun-suppressing divine arrow for themselves." Qin Yun said, "I suspect that after the evil Yang race entered the tribe, they thought of a way to attack your emissaries and then use those emissaries to infiltrate the sun's heart. I will definitely investigate this matter thoroughly." Yang Wuxin's expression suddenly turned ugly as he cursed in a low voice. Evil Yang race bastards, they are truly too despicable. Not long after, they touched the surface of the sun's heart. After approaching, Qin Yun felt that the sun's heart was the size of the moon. Its surface was somewhat cold and not hot at all. However, the light it released made people feel very warm when it shone on the ground. Yang Wuxin took out the token and was able to penetrate the hard crystal on the surface of the sun's heart and enter the glowing central region. After Qin Yun followed in, he felt very strange. It was as if he was immersed in a light golden liquid. His entire body was wrapped in warm water. It was very soft and comfortable. Furthermore, breathing was smooth, and he could absorb a very strange power. They weren't walking in the water, they were swimming. The interior of this sun's heart is truly strange, Qin Yun thought, and this kind of power is very special. I wonder how it is formed. Ling Yin'er is also very surprised. After a while, Qin Yun followed Yang Wuxin into the central region. Inside the central region is a very spacious stone room. Arriving here, Qin Yun felt a very familiar feeling. Back then, when he was at the 9 extinction gate, he had once entered the interior of the gigantic sun-suppressing divine arrow. The 4 walls were filled with all sorts of totems and runes related to the sun, and this stone room is the same. The runes on the walls emitted a faint golden radiance. The runes and totems on the walls seemed to be flowing. This is a sun rune that can move. This is not the first time Qin Yun has seen such a rune. The last time he saw it, it was created by the star god. It was very strange and seemed to be able to release a very strong energy. Where's the evil yang power? After Qin Yun entered, he saw the sun-suppressing divine arrow inserted in the middle of the circular stone room. Strange, there was a lot of black evil yang power here just now. Why did it suddenly disappear? Could it be that it was eliminated by the sun's heart itself? Yang Wuxin said with a frown. Qin Yun walked over and held the sun-suppressing divine arrow. He said in surprise, "This sun-suppressing divine arrow. I can't establish a connection with it. Does it not belong to me?" When Yang Wuxin heard Qin Yun's words, he hurriedly shouted, "Quickly release the sun-suppressing divine arrow. The evil yang power is controlling the sun-suppressing divine arrow." Qin Yun hurriedly shook off the sun-suppressing divine arrow. However, he discovered that the sun-suppressing divine arrow was stuck to his palm. A black gas suddenly gushed out and drilled into his palm. In an instant, his arm swelled up and his sleeves burst open. His entire arm turned pitch black and a black gas surged out. "This is bad." Yang Wuxin's expression changed greatly as he shouted, "Little brother Qin, I'll cut off your hand." "No need." Qin Yun suddenly became very calm because the evil yang power could only flow through his arm and not enter his body. The 9-sun divine spirit on his wrist is also constantly absorbing the energy of the sun's heart. Then, it released a powerful power to suppress the evil yang power. "Emissary Yang, you go out first. I can handle it." Qin Yun's voice is very calm. It can be seen that he is not afraid of the evil yang power at all. Yang Wuxin knew that Qin Yun is very powerful and is highly regarded by the divine arrow spirit. When he saw that the evil yang power could not enter Qin Yun's body, he felt a lot more at ease. Qin Yun is much calmer than him. "All right." Yang Wuxin nodded and quickly left the stone room. Qin Yun gripped the sun-suppressing divine arrow tightly and said with a sneer, "Evil yang power? If you hide well, you might be able to achieve your goal. But you met me and you even want to attack me. Then you can only blame your bad luck. Yuner, start devouring the evil yang power." Qin Yun said in his heart. "All right." Ling Yuner said with a smile, "Nether Sun is the most awesome. What evil yang power is nothing in front of Nether Sun?" After Ling Yuner activated the Nether Sun, the evil yang power seemed to be very afraid. It tried its best to leave Qin Yun's arm and return to the sun-suppressing divine arrow. However, the devouring power produced by the Nether Sun has already locked onto the evil yang power. The muscles on Qin Yun's arm suddenly bulged. It seems like something is running out of his skin. Furthermore, it seems like someone is shouting under his arm, issuing all kinds of shouts. Qin Yun said with a smile, "So this evil yang power is a very strong soul body. This guy is finished. Devour this kind of powerful soul body and dissolve the power. I will use it to cultivate my soul." The Nether Sun is like a large furnace. It can dissolve all kinds of energy and then transform them into the purest primitive energy. After the soul body is dissolved, there will definitely be a lot of pure mental power that can be absorbed. In just a moment, Qin Yun's pitch-black arm also gradually returned to its original appearance. The black gas disappeared. "It's been devoured," Ling Yuner said with a charming smile. The sun-suppressing divine arrow in Qin Yun's hand once again turned fiery red, as if it is wrapped in a layer of flame. Divine arrow spirit. "What the hell is going on?" Qin Yun asked. "Can't the sun-suppressing divine arrow control the sun core? Why not control the sun core and exterminate the Su family and the evil yang race people?" "I can't do it," Divine Arrow Spirit said. "The sun core is not completely under my control. Let's put it this way. 9 suns have 9 pure suns. They're the 9 fiery red suns that you can see in the 9 desolate. Now there are only 9 pure suns left in the sky of the 9 desolate. Other than the 9 pure suns, there is also the 9 evil sun. The 9 evil sun is the dark side of the 9 pure suns. And the 9 sun core is the common 9 pure suns and 9 evil Sunday. They have always been fighting for control. Qin Yun is not surprised because this kind of existence is quite normal. Once the 9 pure suns are destroyed, the 9 evil sun will be able to control the sun core. You people who have the sun-suppressing divine arrow, your main task is to suppress the evil yang power and not let the sun core be controlled by the evil yang. Divine arrow spirit said again, you should quickly cultivate. As long as you become a 9th stage earth immortal, with the strength of the 4 of you, it will be enough to fight against the evil yang race. Qin Yun asked, as long as we exterminate the evil yang race beside the heart yang realm, we can return to the immortal desolate, right? Chapter 1446. Seizing heart, Qin Yun sat in the middle of the stone room, holding the sun-suppressing divine arrow, and asked, what are outer realm beings? They are people from other star fields. The universe is very big, and there are many star fields that can give birth to powerful beings, including humans and beasts. Before the 9 sun world extermination, they might come because they know that before the world is exterminated, the remaining sun will descend a lot of resources. Divine arrow spirit said. Qin Yun also began to absorb the power of the sun core. He is still at the 9th level of Xian immortal realm and has not yet become an earth immortal, but his strength is also very strong. Otherwise, he and Xiao Yuelan would not have been able to deal with those devils. While cultivating, Qin Yun took out the dim 9 sun divine hammer and asked the divine arrow spirit. 9 sun divine hammer is a sun soul. Because the sun fell, it was damaged. Now I can only use the core fragment to temporarily awaken the 9 sun divine hammer. Is there a way to permanently awaken the 9 sun divine hammer? Yes, but the process is very difficult. Your current cultivation is too low and you need some materials, divine arrow spirit said. In the future, not only the 9 sun divine hammer will sleep, any divine weapon or divine tool born from the sun will fall into a deep sleep, including the sun-suppressing divine arrow. Qin Yun sighed helplessly. He thought that after entering the sun core, there would be a way to awaken the 9 sun divine hammer. In this way, he would not need to consume the core fragment in the future. He doesn't have many core fragments in his hands, and it will be very difficult to get more in the future. As his cultivation increases, if Qin Yun wants to temporarily awaken the 9 sun divine hammer, he will need to consume more core fragments. Cultivate in peace. As long as you can become stronger, you can rebirth the 9 sun divine hammer. Divine arrow spirit said. His voice also gradually became weaker. Divine arrow spirit. Divine arrow spirit. Qin Yun shouted a few times, but did not get any response. He doesn't know what is going on. Ling Yun said, Xiao Yun, this divine arrow spirit should not be able to communicate with people often. It can only occasionally communicate with people who possess the sun-suppressing divine arrow. Qin Yun still had some questions to ask, but now he could only cultivate in peace. While cultivating, he looked at his nether Sunday. At this moment, the heavenly lion is still producing totem runes. Yuner, how can nether sun totem completely appear on heavenly lion, divine hammer, and little white dragon? Qin Yun asked. I don't know. In short, as your cultivation increases, more and more nether sun totems will appear. Ling Yun said, Xiao Yun, when you used your power before, you did not completely dig out the power of the nether sun totem. How can I use the power of the nether sun totem? Please teach me. Qin Yun also doesn't know how to cultivate nether Sunday. Even if he has nether sun totem, he doesn't know how to use its special ability. Ling Yun said, when you stop cultivating, I will see if there is any way to stimulate the power of the nether sun totems. totems had all sorts of special abilities, and the main thing was to comprehend them in order to understand how to use the totem's special abilities. Qin Yun has Nether Sun for a long time, and Nether Sun's ability is mainly controlled by Ling Yun. At that moment, Qin Yun was inside the heart of the sun. The energy he absorbed was provided by the heart of the sun. Only by absorbing the energy provided by the sun's core and cultivating to become stronger could the sun's suppressing divine arrow's greatest power be unleashed. Soon, a few days passed. Qin Yun has now broken through to Earth Immortal Realm. What surprised him is that when he broke through to Earth Immortal Realm, the heavenly lion revolving around his nether sun suddenly roared, and its whole body emitted golden flame. Can I summon it? Qin Yun's heart stirred. He wanted to summon the heavenly lion, but he did not succeed. Ling Yun said with smile, I can't summon it, but I can make the little heavenly lion enter your body. Roar! With a thought from Qin Yun, the little heavenly lion near the nether sun suddenly disappeared, and his arm fiercely spewed out energy flame. He promptly rolled up his sleeves and saw that his light golden arm is overflowing with a trace of flame, and the nether sun totem is flowing on the surface of his skin. This is Heavenly Tao's ferocious power. It can be attached to my body. Qin Yun clenched his fist. He can feel that the power inside the nether sun can directly rush into his arm and be released through the nether sun totem on his arm. It can become even more powerful. Boom! He punched the ground and burst out with boundless ferocious power. Feeling the ferocious power rushing out from his arm, Qin Yun is wild with joy. Very good, Qin Yun said with smile. After cultivating for so long, the little heavenly lion can finally unleash a very strong power. Xiao Yun, the immortal power inside the nether sun, has also transformed into Earth Immortal Power. Your Earth Immortal Power combined with the nether sun totem will definitely become even stronger. Ling Yun said, Then I will continue cultivating. Next I should start cultivating the divine hammer, right? Qin Yun sat down again and began operating the Immortal Devil Sacred Body Art and One Thought Imperial Heaven Art. The Immortal Devil Sacred Body Art can cultivate body and immortal power. The One Thought Imperial Heaven Art can cultivate soul and enhance mental power. What made Qin Yun puzzled is that after he entered the Earth Immortal Realm, he is still cultivating the little heavenly lion. It seems like there is no end to making the little heavenly lion produce more nether sun totem. The heavenly lion is the heavenly Tao's ferocious power. Could it be that it has not been cultivated to the limit? Qin Yun is very doubtful. The heavenly lion should not have been cultivated to the limit. Ling Yun said, Continue cultivating and see. In any case, it can make your heavenly Tao's ferocious power even stronger. Qin Yun wants to cultivate the little divine hammer, but now that he is not in control, he can only let nature take its course. The Heart Yang Realm's Heart Protection Divine Race tribe has become much quieter in the past few days. On the Su family's side, when they learned that Qin Yun successfully entered the sun's heart to cultivate, they were extremely jealous. Previously, Xiakaru and Qin Long said that they wanted to join the Yang family. And Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon have a very good relationship with the Yang family. Once they come out of the sun's heart, they will definitely be suppressed by the Yang family to the point that they won't be able to raise their heads. Furthermore, the 4 people with the sun suppressing divine arrow will definitely be the strongest 4 Earth Immortals. Whether it is to deal with the evil Yang race or the Su family, they will be a very strong force. In this way, the Heart Yang realm will definitely be controlled by the Yang family. After Su Tiangao and a few clan elders analyzed, they realized that their Su family will definitely be settled by the Yang family in the future. Patriarch, what do you think we should do now? Previously, we had such a big conflict with the Yang family, and we are also so close to the evil Yang race. Once the Yang family gains power, they will definitely deal with us. An old man said, We have no way out. Su Tiangao said coldly, Go find the evil Yang race. Secretly let the patriarch of the evil Yang race come in. No matter what they want to do, we will support them. as long as they can stop the Yang family from gaining power. Then, will they destroy the sun's heart? An old man said worriedly, if the sun's heart is destroyed, we will be punished. Punished? The current sun's heart simply doesn't have the ability to punish us, Su Tiangao said with a sneer. Previously, when the sun's heart was invaded by the evil Yang power, didn't it have any reaction? If we really wanted to punish, our Su family would have been finished long ago. The other clan elders all nodded in relief. An old man said in a low voice, Patriarch, then you mean, Su Tiangao chuckled and said, the sun's heart is very powerful, and there are still sun-suppressing divine arrows inside. The evil Yang race has a way to obtain the sun's heart. We can cooperate with them and let them pass the method to us, and we will also cooperate. The sun's heart was originally very weak. Back then in the divine desolate, it was almost obtained by those powerful gods. And now, 6 of the 9 suns have fallen, so the sun's heart is even weaker. Furthermore, it has to fight against the 9 evil sun. Now is the best time for us to get rid of the sun's heart and control it. Su Tiangao's eyes were filled with fanaticism as he laughed loudly. We will definitely succeed. Those bullshit clan rules are just to fool people. What the Su family had been doing during this period of time was to constantly test the bottom line of the sun's heart. They also discovered that the sun's heart was not as terrifying as the legend said. It only contained a very powerful regenerative energy. Qin Yun entered the sun's heart to cultivate for 10 days. Previously, when he broke through to the Earth Immortal stage, he was able to use the Heavenly Lion's Proud Force. Although he had yet to step into the second stage of Earth Immortal, he knew that the next step was to cultivate the Proud Force of the Heavenly Tao. However, just when he thought that it would be very smooth, he suddenly felt that his surroundings were filled with evil Yang power. What's going on? Qin Yun was extremely alarmed. He immediately held onto the sun, suppressing divine arrow tightly. He constantly shouted for the spirit of the divine arrow, but there was no response. The sun's heart that he was in was once again invaded by the evil Yang power. The sudden influx of a large amount of evil Yang power caused Qin Yun to feel suffocated. Fortunately, he cultivated the immortal devil's sacred body and was able to resist the invasion of the evil Yang power. Although the evil Yang power could invade his body, it was unable to destroy his powerful immortal devil's sacred body. Furthermore, it would be absorbed and devoured by the nether sun. At this moment, Yang Tianhin and the others in the tribe below all raised their heads and looked at the third sun's heart that Qin Yun was in. Patriarch, what's going on with the sun's heart that Brother Qin is in? Why did it suddenly turn black? Yang Kuei said in shock. At this time, Yang Wuxin flew down and shouted, there's a problem. That sun's heart has been infiltrated by a very strong, evil Yang power. There must be someone from the evil Yang race who entered the tribe to cause trouble. Yang Tianhin looked at the Su family and said angrily, it must be that bastard Su Tiangao's doing. I'll go and kill them right now. Yang Kuei shouted, Emissary Yang, Brother Qin is still inside? What should we do? Yang Wuxin's expression turned grave as he shook his head and said, I can't go in right now. Little Brother Qin should be able to take care of it. At this moment, the people of the heart-protecting divine race suddenly shouted, because around the black sun's heart, many black spatial cracks appeared. There is an incomparably terrifying evil pressure that tore apart the spatial cracks, wanting to suck away the sun's heart. This is bad. Yang Wuxin's expression changed greatly. Just as he was about to fly up, the sun's heart was suddenly dragged into the spatial crack and disappeared. Soon after, the surrounding spatial cracks also quickly healed. Chapter 1447. Evil Yang Realm Qin Yun, who is in the heart of the sun, constantly devoured the evil Yang power that seeped in, but because there were too many of them, he couldn't devour them all. Why is the evil Yang energy increasing? Qin Yun was puzzled as he held the sun-suppressing divine arrow in his hand. He constantly shouted for the divine arrow's spirit, but there was no response. Ling Yun said anxiously, Xiao Yun, something big happened. I felt a very strong spatial ripple just now. Xieyang might have been taken to the Xieyang world. Qin Yun is inside the Sun Core. He does not know that the Sun Core has been dragged into the evil Yang realm. Is that really possible? The Sun Core was so huge. How did it end up in the evil Yang realm? Besides, aren't there Yang Wuxin and the other envoys guarding outside? Qin Yun did not dare to believe that this was true. Yang Wuxin and his group are not reliable at all. Ling Yun sighed. Xiao Yun, the heart of the sun has entered the evil Yang realm. The experts of the evil Yang race should be entering soon. Qin Yun is surrounded by evil Yang power. Furthermore, he does not know how to leave the stone room. Motherfucker, what the hell is going on? Qin Yun cursed in his heart. It was very abnormal during the assessment. He entered the heart of the sun to clear the evil Yang energy. He thought that he could cultivate in the heart of the sun with peace of mind. But now, the Sun Core was brought to the evil Yang realm. The Heart Protector God race couldn't even protect such a huge thing. This made him very disappointed. Suddenly, the sun-suppressing divine arrow trembled and released a burst of strong light. The voice of the divine arrow's spirit came from inside. The heart of the sun has indeed been taken to the evil Yang realm. But you don't have to worry about the most important heart crystal inside the heart of the sun, said the spirit of the divine arrow. Heart crystal? Where? Asked Qin Yun. Just as he finished speaking, a small bead suddenly appeared in the middle of the stone room. It was only the size of a child's fist. To be exact, this is the real sun's core. The sun-suppressing divine arrow continued. The outer layer is the protective layer condensed by the sun's core. The protective layer formed was like a huge crystalline star. Qin Yun picked up the very small sun core and said, the protective layer is so huge, but it is still unable to resist the invasion of the evil Yang power. There's nothing we can do about it. Right now, the sun's heart is at its weakest. Furthermore, the power released by the sun's heart is connected to the Heart Protection Divine Tribe. Through the Heart Protection Divine Tribe, someone guided the evil Yang power inside. The spirit of the divine arrow said, protect that heart crystal well. That is the true sun's heart. Qin Yun placed the sun's core into the 9 Yang divine spirit and asked, divine arrow spirit, why do you sometimes speak and sometimes don't? Because I can't communicate with you sometimes. I'm also being disturbed by the power of the evil Yang. The spirit of the divine arrow said, the reason why I chose you is because of your potential. I know that you will definitely be able to protect the heart of the sun. When Qin Yun heard the voice of the divine arrow's spirit gradually weaken, he knew that he was about to lose contact again. He originally wanted to ask how to get out, but now he could not contact the spirit of the divine arrow, so he could only continue to stay in this stone room filled with black gas. If Qin Yun saw the outer shell of the sun's heart from outside, he would know why he can't go out. Because the thick layer of light golden crystal on the outer shell of the sun's heart has now turned pitch black. Inside the evil Yang realm, there is also a large prairie. A huge black sun's heart is floating on top of it. It is very strange. Many evil Yang race people below are cheering. Evil Yang race leader said with smile, very good, we finally got a sun's heart. This is all thanks to evil Yang. This evil Yang realm is only a small one. It was created mainly to obtain the Heart Yang realm's sun's heart. Patriarch Xieyang is also the patriarch of this evil Yang realm. There are many other evil Yang realms. The evil Yang race people, they're even more powerful. Patriarch Xieyang and many elders flew up one after another. They're all holding large black swords in their hands. After they approached the outer shell of the sun's heart, a black gas penetrated the thick outer shell and rushed inside. Let's go in. Qin Yun should be inside. I wonder if he was killed by the evil Yang power. Patriarch Xieyang laughed sinisterly. If he is still alive, we will make him suffer a fate worse than death. Qin Yun obtained the real sun's heart. What is floating above the evil yang realm is just an outer shell without heart crystal. Although it contains a lot of energy, once the energy is used up, it can no longer be regenerated. Qin Yun, who is inside the stone room, suddenly sensed people coming in, and a lot of them. He immediately became vigilant. "It's you." Qin Yun suddenly sensed Patriarch Xie Yang's aura. "Qin Yun, you are actually still alive. You are truly amazing." Patriarch Xie Yang saw that Qin Yun is still alive. Although he is somewhat shocked, he is even more happy. If Qin Yun died, he would not be able to torture Qin Yun anymore. Qin Yun is only a first-stage Earth Immortal, and there are more than 10 ninth-stage Earth Immortals here. They're all the strongest in the evil Yang race. "All of you go die." Qin Yun took out the sun-suppressing divine arrow, flew over, and stabbed at Patriarch Xie Yang. "Don't even think about being arrogant in our territory." Patriarch Xie Yang is still very strong, and the black sword in his hand is also very powerful. Seeing Qin Yun stabbing the sun-suppressing divine arrow at him, he quickly waved his sword and slashed. The black sword slashed out, creating a sword wind that looks like a demon laughing sinisterly. The sun-suppressing divine arrow in Qin Yun's hand was hit. He also felt that the evil power is very strong. It shook his arm and made him feel pain. At this moment, the other old men also made their move. Each of them held a black chain with thorns. The chain was thrown out and actually pierced through Qin Yun's body. More than 10 chains pierced through Qin Yun's body and tied him up. Qin Yun is very clear that he is unable to fight against these powerful 9th-stage Earth Immortals. He can only quickly put away the sun-suppressing divine arrow to prevent it from being stolen. Originally, he thought that the sun-suppressing divine arrow would protect its master, but there was no movement just now. Could it be because the power of the sun's heart was cut off from the sun-suppressing divine arrow, so the sun-suppressing divine arrow did not protect its master? Qin Yun thought. Although his body was pierced by many chains, he did not feel any pain. He is thinking of a way to escape. The real sun's heart is stored in the 9-sun divine soul. That is why it was cut off from the sun-suppressing divine arrow. Qin Yun, when you were protecting the heart-protecting god race, you could only be so arrogant because of Yang Tianhen and his group of bastards. Now that you don't have their protection, you finally know how weak you are. Patriarch Xie Yang saw that Qin Yun is tightly bound by the chains and laughed. "This is great. Not only can we get the sun's heart, we can also capture Qin Yun." Qin Yun killed Xie Tailing and Xie Yuanfeng. He is the #1 enemy of the Xie Yang race. Patriarch Xie Yang is very happy to capture this #1 enemy. "Kill me if you have guts," Qin Yun said coldly. "Kill you? Isn't that too easy for you? Ha ha!" Patriarch Xie Yang shouted. "Throw him into the evil Dragon Mountain." Qin Yun blamed the stone room for being too small, causing him to be unable to take out the powerful floating cloud pagoda. Otherwise, he would not have been captured. After coming to the surface, Qin Yun is being held by a dozen old men of the Xie Yang race. Patriarch Xie Yang has a long whip in his hand and is constantly whipping Qin Yun. On the side, there were many people watching. Some of the Xie Yang Patriarch's men had entered the heart-protecting divine race's tribe before, so they all knew that it was Qin Yun. This is the person who has the sun-suppressing divine arrow. He is the one who killed Great General Xie Tailing. He is actually captured. Someone said in shock. As expected of the Patriarch, not only did he get the sun's heart, he also captured this guy. This is great. I heard that when he passed the test, he killed 100 of our Earth Immortals. Now that he is captured, we cannot let him die easily. Those idiots from the Yang family, they can't even protect him. Su family has helped us a lot this time. If not for them cooperating with us, we would not have the chance to sneak into the heart-protecting God Race's tribe. Ha ha ha! Patriarch Xie Yang suddenly laughed. He waved the whip in his hand and whipped Qin Yun. "Everyone, this is the #1 enemy of our Xie Yang race. He also has the sun-suppressing divine arrow. Originally, he was supposed to cultivate inside the sun's heart, but now he is captured by me. Patriarch, what do you plan to do with this guy?" Someone asked, "Throw him into the evil dragon mountain." Patriarch Xieyong laughed sinisterly. Tens of thousands of Xieyong race people nearby immediately cried out in shock. Throw him into the evil dragon mountain? It's like hell in there. The evil dragon mountain has imprisoned our Xieyong race's prisoners. Those who violated the rules of the Xieyong race are all suicidal. If not for the fact that we need to keep them alive to cause trouble in the Heartyong realm, we would have already killed them. Kill them? Not so easy. That group of prisoners will perish together. Wait, isn't the evil dragon mountain a place for geniuses to train? Those prisoners are the stepping stones for the geniuses. Isn't that so? The scariest thing about the evil dragon mountain is not the prisoners inside, but the people guarding the prisoners. They're all geniuses of our Xieyong race. I really envy the people who can enter the evil dragon mountain. I heard that they can use the prisoners as they wish to spar, and they can even eat the flesh of the prisoners. There's nothing to be envious of after entering the evil dragon mountain. It is not easy to come out. There are 9 layers inside the evil dragon mountain. After entering, you have to go up layer by layer until you reach the 9th layer. Qin Yin now roughly understood the situation of the evil dragon mountain. There are many crazy Xieyong race people imprisoned inside. Moreover, it is a place for geniuses to train. If an ordinary person was brought in, they would either be killed by the prisoners inside or killed by the geniuses guarding the prisoners. You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.